Do we have the call-in number somewhere?
All right, looks like we are in business, right? Well, hello and welcome viewers to yet another episode of DCL Prime Time. This day, June 23rd, June 24th for some of you, including one of our analysts. Lots more exciting games to talk about, some very close games, some near upsets, some that had the analysts biting their nails off in tension. And of course, as always, we also have some guests to join our panel tonight. I believe the team spotlight today will be focused on the team Canton 11, whose skipper Javed we expect to join us shortly. Satya, do we have any information on when he's planning to join us?
Should be after the analysis.
Should be after the analysis? Okay, perfect. And then, of course, we will... yes, Vijay, go ahead.
Quick, this thing, because we have a time constraint today, at least with regards to Samish, we might want to, when Javed comes in, do this thing. If we don't finish the analysis, maybe stop it and then finish off the team spotlight and then the showcase game of the week. And then we can come back and finish the game analysis and then go to the predictions. We might want to do that today. But I think also this is a good test to see who is the number one culprit for the show going too long. And since Parthiv is not here to defend himself, I'm willing to say that Parthiv is the number one culprit for this show being so long. And today is the litmus test to prove if Parthiv is the number one culprit. So let's see.
Well, considering the analysis of the previous week's games for this weekend, for this week is split between Satya, who we all know has $1 million smile, but that smile usually masks his tendency to not speak much. So hopefully that is a shot in the arm for us. And I know the other half is myself, who is often remembered more for his talking than for any achievements on the field, but I will try and keep it as short and sweet as I can as well. So hopefully we can be quicker this weekend.
Quick question. You're saying that you're not remembered for your achievements on the field? I hope that Mr. Alien Brain saw your achievement in the bowling figures on the field. I just wanted to put that out while I had you on that spot.
No, it's just that usually when people meet, they shake my hand and say, "Oh, Avi, you're the guy from the talk show. Oh, you're the guy that hosts the award ceremonies." And not once have I heard, "Oh, you're the guy that took 5 wickets," or "You're the guy that saved your team scoring 20 runs." Except you, Viju. So
well, we have Mr. Alien Brain to thank for that. He should give you opportunities, right? You can't produce if you are, you know that thing, right? You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So if nobody is giving you the ball, well, you can't take any wickets. So,
well, thankfully he did give me chances, and I think I did capitalize on them. But we'll come to that in a bit. So yeah, recapping the previous week's games. So like I mentioned, we have it split between myself and Satya, whose voice you will all have the pleasure of hearing on DCL Prime Time. So Satya, please do the honors.
Alright, so the first game we are going to see is AR Panthers with Sterling Strikers. So the score itself says like they were 34 for 10 and they won without any wickets. And AR Panthers is the second big loss because GLCC scored like 253 runs against them. I know Sterling Strikers is the easy win, but yeah, still like if we go through the scorecard, there is not much to speak. It's all zeros, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 ducks. Then you don't expect to score. So in the middle order somewhere, they try to build some innings, but I think Raza made sure. So it's all like single digits for the bowling from Sterling Strikers. I think they are in good form this season. First 3 games, they are really showing up what they can do, and they won the game without any wickets, just to like opening pair with a couple of boundaries and like easy win for them. It was a short game, just 4 overs and 16 overs. Whoever umpired, they should be happy for that game. So I don't have anything much to add. Did you have anything to add?
Avi, the sun rises every day in the East. I don't have anything much to say here. The only thing I can highlight is Raza Ali, as I said before, is always in the top 3, at least as far as I'm concerned, in wickets taken. Right now, he's leading the DCL in wickets taken. And there are many people who are detractors of Raza Ali. And I don't know why they hate Raza Ali or why they don't like what his achievements are or they rubbish his achievements. Maybe because he doesn't have the pace of a Giriappa or some of the other fast bowlers. But the litmus test is wickets taken. I don't care how fast you bowl. You can bowl 200 miles an hour, and if you can't take a single wicket and if you can't put the ball in the right places, what use is 200 miles an hour? And for me, for the money, Raza Ali has always been in the wickets taken. He's leading the wickets taken. And those who are detractors of Raza Ali, according to me, are like the ostrich. You know what is the great thing about the ostrich? When it is facing a predator, it assumes that the predator is not a predator if it can't see the predator. So it goes and buries its head in the sand and thinks that if it can't see the predator, it's safe. And the next thing you know, it becomes roadkill and they get crushed and they die. You get my point? Only because they are not accepting the reality. And my point is, it's high time DCL accepted reality, irrespective of what your personal preference for Raza Ali is or not. I don't like the fact that he keeps switching so many teams, but that's a different issue. But as a bowler, I mean, let's face it, that he consistently picks wickets. Okay. It's a different thing that, he changes teams faster than Jennifer Lopez changes boyfriends. But having said that, this game, let's look at this game. You get my point?
Yes.
AR Phantoms, really, they need to ask themselves. And I know our fellow analyst, Parthu, is not here today because he has some other pressing engagement, always says that win the toss and bat. I honestly would challenge AR Phantoms and Micah DHM. You win the toss. If you have any sense of integrity, go and give the opposition batting. The reason is, what are you playing the game to improve? I mean, what's the point in scoring 34 runs and out of which 10 are extras? You have scored only 24 runs off the bat. You are not only wasting your time, you're wasting your opposition's time, you're wasting the umpire's time. The only people who are happy is probably the umpires that the game's got over so quickly and their job is done. But really speaking, you're doing a disservice to the entire DCL by winning the toss and batting first. Now, whose fault is it that you are so bad? It's your fault. You know what? If I had this thing, I'll say, you know what? I need to get better. And you know what? If I am getting thrashed around, I need to learn from that and say, you know what? I'm going to come back and become better. Guess what? When I first formed Glads, you know what? Very first year, we made the playoffs. Not because we had some great outstanding talent. The very first game I played, Avi, you won't believe it. I got thrashed. We played a practice game. It was against Dynamites, and Dynamites killed us. Dynamites scored 160 in 25 overs against Glads. That was the very first game we played. And in reply, we could score only 60 runs. Believe it or not, that is the honest truth. And I had to look at my team in the eye and say, this kind of nonsense cannot be perpetuated. We are going to change. Yes, we haven't even played a single league game. We have taken on Dynamites. Forget it. I have not taken on GLCC or Megabytes or Brownstown, who were the great teams at that time. I took on Dynamites. And Dynamites put 160 on us on the very first game. And I'm saying that Dynamites is crushing us by more than 100 runs. And I'm hoping that I can make the playoffs. But guess what? I made the playoffs that year, Avi. I have never missed the playoffs because deep down there was an integrity that, you know what, I will not allow this nonsense to continue. And my team has to improve. And if we have to put somebody, we'll learn. Let's go and fetch the ball. Let's go around running. And so that will help us to motivate ourselves, you know what, and say, you know what, this nonsense is not continuing. We are not wasting anybody's time. But right now you're winning the toss, batting first. And I know Partha will say that you should win and toss, but you know what? You are wasting the other person's time. At least if those guys had batted 25 overs, they would have been happy. Now they'll be regretting that, you know what? They spend more time driving to the ground and going back driving rather than playing this game. And that's my piece on it. I think AR Phantoms and Micah, they are fighting for the basement king honors, the emperor of the basement honors. and one of them is going to get it. But here, honestly, they have to look themselves in the eye and say, what are we taking part in this league for? Is it to become the laughing stock wherein we are not improving? At least let's not waste somebody else's time. Right now, we are wasting everybody else's time. And I don't want to waste further time on this one. So let's move on.
A real whipping from the headmaster there for AR Phantoms. Hopefully that will serve as motivation. You could maybe offer a corollary to that, saying that maybe they batting first lets them maybe give the chance of trying and developing their skills without pressure of having to chase a target. But your point is definitely delivered across well, and hopefully AR Phantoms and Micah will hear it. Now, just a point to the audience, two things. One, welcome Javed from Team Canton 11. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. And to the audience, if you see, we do have a timer there on the screen. So as harsh as our criticism might be of some of the teams in the league, we are equally scrupulously harsh when it comes to judging ourselves, and hopefully we can improve on the time. I did get a text from one of our viewers today saying maybe if one person could do the analysis per game, you guys could be faster. Well, it's the whole point of the show is to offer the facts and do an analysis, including the facts and the color. But the point is certainly well received. We will try and speed up, and hopefully you will all see that tonight. And so,
Avi, the number one culprit was Parthiv. I'm going to see if we improve because of Parthiv, and he's not here to defend himself. So let's go along. But Javed, welcome to the show. Happy to see you, my friend.
So I guess I'll just put it out there. Should we just hold on to the analysis and bring in Javed first, or?
Well, I think we can. We'll stop at 8:45 or wherever we are, and then we'll bring in Javed, and then at 9 we'll go to the showcase game, and wherever we are, we'll come back.
Okay, sounds great. So all right. So Satya, please.
So the next game is Rising Stars versus Micah. So my pick was Micah, but the DCL experience really paid off. So Rising Star made 109 and Micah made only 66. So when we see the Rising Stars, it's Prashant Patel who stayed for 43 balls and made like 15 runs, but still like he's I think Vikrant, but most of the time Prashant leads. So in batting end, there are a couple of double digits, but the middle order really flopped. They could have took more runs with Micah. This might have been a warm-up game for them, so that they have the future games, tough games coming up for Rising Stars. And bowling side, they used like 8 bowlers out of 11 players, and still they could not able to get over Rising Stars. There were like a couple of bowlers, they had like 3, and I don't know why the guy who took 3 wickets, he's bowled only 3 overs, and who got 20 runs and like 18 runs, they bowled more overs. So if you go to Micah batting, I don't see any big scores. It's only Naresh in the opening, try to chase them down, but I don't think that was enough, and they were all out for 66 with batting 21 overs. So good one, Rising Stars. You had the win. So did you?
Avi, on this one, there was no surprises here. As I told you last week, the local stars will beat the international stars. That's exactly what happened. The biggest local star is Prashant Patel. He has been the rock of Rising Stars. Before Rising Stars, it was called Icons. This is the man who founded Icons, and then they have rechanged their name to Rising Stars. But this guy is a solid bloke. He's a smart guy. He's a very decent cricketer. He's a very even, keen guy to deal with. He's a nice gentleman on and off the field. I have the highest respect for him. Oftentimes, he's the lone ranger fighting with both the bat and the ball. And he has been doing this for several years. He used to be a former striker. He used to play for Strikers until he went and formed his own team. But I have to say that if he has a little more help, maybe you would see Rising Stars actually rising. But oftentimes what happens is Prashant Patel has to do all the heavy lifting. And cricket is a team game, and unless you get help from many other people, you're not going to do it. It's a different thing that you can do it against Micah DHM. But in terms of Micah DHM, I have to give them credit for one thing. At least as I looked at the scorecard, it tells me that they won the toss and put Rising Stars to bat. At least that's what it said. Micah DHM won the toss and elected to bowl. If that is true, I have to respect them for that, because at least they didn't waste the time of the Rising Stars. You get my point? Otherwise, what's the point in you scoring 24 runs and the game is over within 45 minutes? You have spent more time, as I said before, driving to the ground. And in many cases, the ground is in Ann Arbor. Oh my goodness, it's from Rochester, an hour and 15 to hour and a half. You spend 3 hours in the car, and it makes no sense. But I just want to say, Prashant Patel, 15 runs, 4 wickets, once again, solid outing. Great win for Rising Stars, but respect for Micah DHM for the fact that at least they didn't make a mockery of the process by winning the toss and just batting. And then I take my batting. This is like when you are playing gully cricket. I go and bat, my bat, I'm gone as soon as I'm out. That's it. See you later. You get my point? That's not the way to play cricket. Make it worthwhile for everybody. And I think Micah at least did that. So for that, I respect them for the fact that they didn't waste anybody's time. Let's move on to Dynamites versus SSK.
So next is Dynamites versus SSK. So we know it's going to be a close game. So I think 2 of our analysts predicted SSK will beat, but I don't think the Dynamites won it. Like, it was a close game. So 88 for 10 and 75 for 10. So if you see the Dynamites batting, Venkat, who scored 23 or 40, and there are not so many people, but still there are some double digits. Arun, he batted like opening. I think he batted well last week, but not end of this week. So Arun Samnathan came down here, another Arun. So if you go SSK bowling, I see only Ramesh Babu as no name, but Kalyan, who did very good job with 5 overs, 9 runs and 3 wickets. And go to the SSK batting. It's the opening. Tejas Reddy, who made 19 runs, and there were like Yuvraj, who gave a good partnership, but they were at back when there was like 3 wickets down. They were only 25, and they tried to pull from that. And you see, it's only Prakash who took 4 wickets for Dynamites, and Arun Selvaraj made 5 overs, 2 maiden, which is a notable one, and Amit Yadav at the end, he made like 1 maiden and 2 wickets. It's a good game. It was good to watch, and Dynamics won by 13 runs at the end.
And it's interesting because Viju is not on Facebook. So before we go to Viju, I do want to make this point. I know Vijay Shanmugam at the end of every game posts a picture of his team and says, we've been doing well, which is great to see a captain publicly celebrating his team. But he had mentioned that I don't remember his exact words, but they kind of stuck it to the analysts, so-called analysts, by winning 2 games in succession. And hey, for the record, I predicted a Dynamites win, so I'm happy. But so Viju, there you go. That sets the base for you to launch.
Yeah, I'm not on Facebook. I have no clue what goes on in Facebook, but Satya manages the Glad's Facebook account. But anyway, coming to the thing, Vijay did contact me on WhatsApp. I am on WhatsApp. So he did contact me on WhatsApp and say that, they proved me wrong, and I accepted it. And I said that, what? The SSK boys, I was enamored with this Mysore masala dosha, and, this Lingappan was promising me this Mysore masala dosha. And I thought, when I said Mysore masala dosha, last week we had Rashid on the show, and Rashid is somehow these Lingappan and this the SSK boys thought that Rashid is from Lahore. I don't know if Rashid is from Lahore, but when I said Mysore, these boys, SSK boys, heard Lahore. When I said masala, they heard masala. When I said dosa, they heard samosa. So instead of getting Mysore masala dosha, I got Lahore masala samosa. It is not the same thing, man. I told the mixing of the batter was wrong. The dosa was not there. The
batters,
samosa
yes.
was not good. And these SSK boys were mesmerized and fixated with Rashid and with everything which he said. And instead of getting masala dosa, I got this Lahore masala samosa. And only thing which was common is masala, and that's why they got the bonus point. Or did they even get the bonus point? I thought they got the bonus point. I could be wrong. 8.8 plus what? I thought they got the bonus
I
point.
think they got 21.2 should be the bonus.
Yeah. So anyway, I mean, the fact that they got 75 runs tells me that SSK got the bonus point. In case I don't know, but I thought somewhere I saw two games 10 points. I'm pretty sure that this is wrong. If they are saying that, go back and can you show me what's the point standings?
Well, there was a glitch in the
points.
points table earlier today.
Yeah, I saw two games 10 points.
No, there are some issues with the points.
Yeah, I don't think that is correct. I don't think it is 10 points for Dynamites. I think it's 9 points. I think SSK. I think SSK got the bonus. Now, mind you, I don't have the cheat sheet in front of me.
I think you're right, Viju, because I think every team's point has been incremented by 1 by mistake.
Okay, whatever it is. I mean, I don't know if that is the case. Okay, can you see the glads? Did we get 11 points?
Yes.
No, we have 10 points. So we did get one extra point.
So that's
sure. Pokeries is 9 points. That's correct.
That's been fixed now.
No, but Dynamite shows us 10 points. That's not correct.
Yeah, so that's not right.
Okay, so what I'm saying is that just the mental math tells me Dynamite's lost the bonus point on this one. They did get the bonus point against FCC, but if you are SSK, you need to go and check on this. All right. I mean, I didn't realize this until the show while it was going on. I saw that 2 games, 10 points. But just now, as I was looking at the score 88 and 75, if you got to 75, I'm pretty sure at least my mental math says that SSK got the bonus. Now, remember, that's the difference between me and a lot of people. A lot of people need to go and look at the cheat sheet. Absolutely. I really don't need to look at the cheat sheet. But coming back to this thing, jokes aside, 2 games, 2 wins in a row. Vijay Shanmugam is on top of Mount Everest. All right. If DCL had a Mount Everest, he's on top of Mount Everest. He's shouting and yelling that he is on the way to playoffs, and really 2 wins in 2 games. If he doesn't make the playoffs from here, we'll have some special segment for Vijay Shanmugam. All right. Let me tell you something. But all credit to him. He has started really well. This is one of the best starts Dynamites have ever had. Hats off to Vijay Shanmugam. Hats off to the Dynamites. The 2 games in a row, their bowlers have really, really held the opposition down. They have batted first and they have put not the greatest of total, but their bowlers seem to cut down on the extras big time. They're giving only 5 to 7 extras. They're really holding the opponent down and really, showing everybody how to win games. And so hats off to Vijay Shanmugam. Actually, my bad record is part of the 3 teams are responsible for my bad record. Bulls, UCA and Dynamites. I've been with Bulls and Dynamites, anything I predict is going opposite. If I say they win, they lose. If I say they lose, they win. And with Dynamites, 2 times I picked against them. I don't think I'm making that mistake this week. So if they lose this week, they'll say that, man, Viju pick against us every game, But anyway, but congrats to Dynamites and fabulous game. We need to acknowledge that. Vijay Shanmugam has done a fabulous job. Only thing, Avi, he has not played both the games. So what is the role of Vijay Shanmugam as a captain? He seems to be the captain of the field, but on the field, somebody else is leading. So that is something we'll have to look a little more closely. Vijay Shanmugam in 2 critical games has not played that game. I can understand a captain every now and then missing a game because you have 13 players, 14 players or whatever it is. But that's the very first 2 games, you missed both of them. That's about it.
He's probably taking a cue from Ramesh Krishnan, India's non-playing captain in the Davis Cup. But yes, Satya, moving on to the next one.
11 versus Pokeries.
Oh, yes.
So I like to ask Javed about what happened. They were batting very good until 17th over. I was expecting around 130 to 140 score, but suddenly someone named Avinash came and wiped them out. So the bottom order is all Avinash R, Bold and Catchman. He also took Harikula, who was a set batsman. But Candle 11 really they were doing good. Yeah, like can you explore more? Like, you're mute.
Javed bhai, you're on mute.
So at the bottom left, you will see an option to unmute yourself.
See him?
There you go. Yeah.
There you go,
There
Javed
you
bhai.
go.
Okay. Yeah, we start very good. Then 17 hour, we're doing very good. Then you somehow suddenly Yusagi run out. Then after that, again, Harry get out. Then next couple of players came in. I decided to batting. In the end, they make a big mistake. You know what I mean? I should become upper number, to do the lefty righty combination and stay there until 25 over. I just stay. Came in the crease in 9 ball left, then I just stay in the front. I just not touch any ball, and the whole team get out. You know what I mean? So that's just a team. All team we talk about it. So next game we will be more clever, more sensible. You know what I mean? So I need to move my number upper in the order. That's where our team concerned. Because I used to be open every game. So now I'm just trying to give a chance to other player. You know what I mean? So I don't. So things look like it's okay, but now maybe in the middle of the order it should be okay. You know what I mean? But we did not capitalize. Last 5 over, we are missing last 2 games. Against Gladiator, we miss same thing. Same thing this last 5 over, 6 hour, we're not capitalizing, That's it. We know what we're lacking, but we are working on. Hopefully next game something different, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you faced already Gladiators and Oak
Right.
Ridge.
The good thing is we play both top team.
Yeah.
100 plus runs, so it's a positive sign for the young player. So they feel very comfortable,
And you made both
Uh,
more than 100, so that's a good batting sign.
Right. The bowling side, we're lacking about player commitment, you know what I mean? We're missing Shivam again this week. He played last game Gladiator, but he's not available. That make a big difference to his 5 over. He take early wickets, you know what I mean? That maybe could be different, But we fight till the end, but it's not our way, But
yeah,
come-
Javed, yeah, if I had to give you an advice now that the Gladiators game is over against you, I can freely give an advice and not feel that it's going to come back and hurt me at least until the playoffs. You get my point? No, I'm just saying I can give an advice very confidently, knowing that I don't have to face you and you're not going to hurt me by taking my own advice against me. But Satya, can you scroll up that scorecard? I honestly feel, Javed bhai, I think your opening is fine. I think Shakil and others are very good openers.
They're doing very
That
good,
was my that is my observation from the game. And I think if I had to go, I would say that somewhere between Yusuf Sultan and Kuldeep Singh, or somewhere between Yusuf Sultan and Rupinder Brar is probably where you want to come, because you are a pretty good batsman who can stay at the wicket, and it can get frustrating for the opposition because you don't really give your wicket that easily. You see, it's not very easy to get your wicket, and plus the righty-lefty combination makes it a nightmare also for the opposition bowlers who are probably bowling their 5th bowler right around that time. You get my point? If you had to take a little bit of an example from this, and this is for other teams too, who are probably looking to see what they can improve, I suspect that the 5th bowler is bowling somewhere around there. And that's where, you are going to go there and you are really going to milk a lot of wides in the form of wides. And then, you would get some extras there. And then I also think that you'd also stop the fall of wickets by keeping one end up and the other end, the batsman is free to hit a few shots, kind of a thing. And you also get some bad balls, especially for the right-hander, because the bowler is always having to adjust between the right-left combination. But yeah, I think both games you have scored 100 plus runs. That's a very good thing. If you ask me, I have been impressed with the batting lineup. And again, I think in this game, you could have probably made this a lot more interesting if you had Junaid Mughal and Shivam in this game, because I honestly saw Shivam and I felt he was a top class bowler. All right. Top class bowler, no doubt about it. If he is there, you probably are not going to see Neil and Ranjit score that many runs that easily. You get my point? This could have become a lot more this thing. That 5 overs is a critical game. And Junaid Mughal is also a very good bowler, and you didn't have him this game. So that also did not help. So you're losing 10 overs of your top-notch bowling. And honestly, when you don't have that 10 overs, then, your bowling is much weaker than it was against Gladiators, against Pokri's 107, if you had made it 117. And then if you had these two guys, I think it could have been very well a different game. My alien brain friend, Ravi Narala, when he gets confused, you have no idea what he might do. He might confuse himself. So you could have counted on some of those chances to come your way, but that did not happen here. But anyway, I thought that coming back to this game, I thought the Canton 11 batting was good, but the bowling is where the problem was. But I thought Neil and Raghu were clinical in their chase, and they did a fabulous job chasing that. But Avi had wonderful figures. After 1 week after calling out his alien brain skipper for not using Avi, and Ranjit and Prasanna, he did give the ball to Avi, and Avi did show 4.1 overs, 2 maidens, 7 runs, 3 wickets. I don't think it gets better than that. If that is not good for my friend, Mr. Alien Brain, I have no idea what is good, because that is top-notch stats. And, Wayne Gretzky, I do not know, most of you have heard of the name Wayne Gretzky. He's considered the greatest ice hockey player ever to have played the game. He's in fact called the Great One. His number is 99, and Ganguly now used to wear 99. But anyway, the thing is that the more pressure you put on Wayne Gretzky performed even better. When Wayne Gretzky was a kid, he used to play as a 10-year-old and 14-year-old and 16-year-old kids. And this guy was so good that one day his team was trailing 4-1 in a hockey game. And there was only about 10 minutes left in the game. And the coach was planning to take Wayne Gretzky out because the next day they were going to have another game. And as it happened, there was a power play. Immediately, Wayne Gretzky saw an opportunity and said, "Coach, put me back in." And the coach said, "All right, I'll put you back in. What do you think you're going to do?" And the coach said, so Wayne Gretzky said, "How many goals do you want? Do you want me to tie the game, or do you want me to win the game?" And the coach was, just flabbergasted and said, what in the world is this guy talking about? Okay, let's see. You tie the game. In the next 10 minutes, Wayne Gretzky tied the game. And after he came out, his fellow teammates told the coach, "Coach, why didn't you ask him to win the game? You could have just said win the game. You said tie the game. He went and tied the game." And I think it's the same thing with Avinash Raghu. Mr. Ravi Narala was giving him the ball and says, "Show me what you can do." He just showed you what he can do. So hopefully he's not going to be ignored in the future games, and he will be used productively. But Canton level, very good game. I think 2 games. Again, I think if you really look at it, the good thing is the 2 tough games are out of this thing. Anyways, if you are a smart skipper, you look at tough games and say, if I win that, it's a bonus. If I even get a bonus point, that's even I'll even take that, because your next games are going to decide. And this week, you have a critical game against your fellow brothers. And this is going to be the game which both brothers want to jam it down the other person's throat to show who is the boss. All right. I am looking forward to this just for the masala factor in this game. So I am looking forward to it. All right, let's go on.
So, yeah, the next game is FCC versus Thunderbolts. And Thunderbolts, as a new team, they won the first 2 easy games. I think Safaris and one more team, but I think this is where the DCL starts for them, where it was the FCC where Venkat Varnala is leading, and they really showed them what is DCL is. So the FCC batted and they got like 123 just for 6 wickets, and Karthik played an extraordinary innings. He's always a good batsman, I know him. And Teju chipped in 12, and Prabhu, he's played like 21 and got a 6, and that was a good score. And it was totally like 123. And bowling end, I think everybody was scoring runs, so it's not a big difference. So Gautam bowled well with 5 overs, 13 for 2, but it's all on the FCC bowling. So Thunderbolts batting is all single digit number of ducks, and I think nobody got settled, and FCC did not allow anybody to get settled. It's the guy who changed with the Sujan, who made 4.2 overs, 1 made in 3 runs and 6 wickets. So where he took away this game from Thunderbolts easily. And as everybody is single digit, and it's all like one economy, and like maximum 2.6 is the max. So I don't think Thunderbolts win, and they have a couple of tight games coming up next couple of weeks. We have to see how Thunderbolts try to win those and try to make it to the playoffs if possible. So, yeah, did you?
Yeah, I think Thunderbolts came into this game high on confidence. They had 2 wins in 2 games, and they must have been on top of their world, thinking that this is probably going to be every week. But winning against UCA and Safaris is one thing. But then when you run into a top team, that's when you really find out where your level is. Winning against puff pastry teams is one thing, and you can dominate them. But winning against, when you run into a killer team, that's when you really see what your level is. And I think for FCC, they won by almost 100 runs in 94 runs, but it's almost as good as 100 runs. I think Karthik and Prabhu should take a huge bow because they really did a fantastic job with the batting on the batting end. And if you're Venkat Vatnala, you know that these 2 guys should be batting every week, kind of a thing. And then I think the Superman on this game day was Sujan. And I would call him Superman Sujan, because when you have that guy, you have thunder and bolt and electricity, which is running like bolts. And the next thing you know, these thunderbolts have been short circuited and they have been reduced to ashes. I think the Thunderbolts stared into the cold, uncaring face of cricketing death and saw the face of Venkat Vatnala, and then the Thunderbolts blinked. In this game, the Thunderbolts blinked. They were absolutely no match for FCC. This was an eye-opener. If you're Thunderbolts, that the level in DCL changes from week to week. And when you run into a top team, it is not going to be fun. But congrats to FCC. I think they needed a big win after that loss. And so they came back, and I expected nothing else from Venkat Vatnala. And so, that's pretty much it. But congrats to Vatnala and Falcons. Yeah, go ahead.
Teams coming up: Patriots, SSK, Dynamics. Like really, they have.
Okay.
So yeah, and next game, Avi. So.
Yep. So next up, so I'm going to take you through the remaining games from the previous weekend, starting off with what we all anticipated would be a big one: Gladiators versus Punjab Warriors. It was billed as the 11 Sardars versus the Sardaru Ka Sardar on the Glad's end, but turns out none of the Sardars had much of an impact on either side. But the result. The end result is that Glads won with a bonus point, but you wouldn't have thought that a foregone conclusion at the halfway mark. I was there in the next field, and I was just thinking what would be going through Viju's mind sitting 10,000 miles away. Because after a steady opening stand between Vignesh and Swaroop, Glads, and a full strength Glads, mind you, were in real strife, and it was their sensible knock of 23 that helped them limp to 81. Punjab Warriors were quite tight with their bowling, with only 6 extras, and pretty much everyone chipped in with the wickets. But then their batsmen made an absolute mess of the chase. Their openers, ironically enough, scored the same amount of runs as the Glads openers, and they would have been quite cock-a-hoop at that stage about their prospects. But what they were missing really was the kind of sensible knock that Taif provided for Glads in the middle order. We often think of Taif as just a slapper dasher, but here he actually showed that he has a sensible brain to go with his brawn. And that's precisely what Punjab Warriors were missing on that occasion. Their batsmen retreated into a shell, and then they just dug themselves into holes that they couldn't climb out of, and they just folded for 57. So Glads showing their class, if not necessarily in the batting, but definitely in the bowling, by making sure that no matter how low the target, they can still win a game with a bonus point. Taif rightfully the man of the match for his game-saving 23 and 3 wickets. So quite some food for thought there for the Punjab Warriors. They made a big impression, scoring the 190 odd they did in their first game, but really the next 2 games have left a lot to be desired, and I'm hoping they'll rectify that. Hopefully not against Pokiris, but as an analyst, I certainly hope they will improve going forward.
Well, Avi, I would say if I had to be honest, the Glads batting stinks. There is no other way to put it. The Glad's batting stinks. All right, stinks big time. It's not even close. I'm sorry, guys, but if you're on the Glad's team, you guys are stinking it up. Arjun Ajbani has scored a grand total of 3 runs in 2 games. For those who think I don't call my star players out, I did already call him out on the WhatsApp Glad's group, and I said, you know what, 3 runs in 2 games. Even I, at my present age, if I came there and without no practice, even I can score 3 runs in 2 games too. So I don't think our batting is clicking. We are taking a long time. We are not clicking on all cylinders. First game, Ronak and Hardeep had a good game, and that saved us. This one, Taif saved us. But we were sleepwalking through our batting. You know, we didn't have the fire, we didn't have the passion. And let's credit them. Ranveer Singh on their end was a good bowler. They did a phenomenal job restricting us to 81. And I honestly didn't even recognize this Glad's team which was batting. I thought that Taif was the lone warrior, both on the batting end and on the bowling end. On the bowling end, we had other guys step up, but he really fought the entire game and he refused to give up and he refused to let Glad's lose. And that's the only reason we did not lose. And that's one of the reasons why we honored him and we asked him to represent the Glad's team in today's showcase game of the week to represent the Glad's side. But if I had to take a silver lining, it is that the Glad's bowlers put up serious fight. We still haven't lost that will to fight. When we put on 81, teams might still think that, you know, we were reeling. If you are in a boxing match, we were staggering and we were waiting for another shot to punch us down. All right. But that punch never came and we survived. But the silver lining is that Shan bowled lights out. And I honestly felt that he bowled 5 overs of top class bowling. I could not honestly say that in 2019. But today, this year, I would say that at least what I saw in that first game, he was bowling a much meaner ball, and that ball had serious zip on it, and it was bowling with passion and fire. And when he is keeping, he really, really changes the dynamics of the game. He really makes it very difficult for anybody to even step out of the crease because your bails will be gone in no time. So I thought Shan was a great addition on the bowling end, but. We had, Jeet bowling very well, and then we had Taif bowling very well. And these 3 guys were also, supported by Jawad and Satya and Ronak and who was the other bowler? I forgot, but one other bowler who came in and bowled quite well. But these are I mentioned. No, I mentioned all of them. Jeet bowled very well. I think they got us the win. But I think from their side, I think their top 4 batsmen, Avi, it would be a big mistake to underrate the Punjab Warriors. I honestly felt their batting is good. Their top 4 batsmen can really bat. Inderpreet is really, really good. And he is probably their best batsman. And Prithpal Munde, he really can bat too. He's not far behind. I mean, the 6 which he did, I really enjoyed that 6. It's too bad that it was against Glad's. But you know what? I honestly felt if these guys stood around, I might soon be seeing 11 balle videos coming from the Punjab Warriors to me. I was mentally preparing myself for that. But Manjinder and Amrinder Pal are also good batsmen. But it is after those 4 batsmen, there is a huge drop off. And I think if you can get through those 4 batsmen, then I think you are opening that window wherein you can drive a Mack truck through. And that's what you would see that, they're 57 for 6 or 7, and then they were 57 all out. So, the last few batsmen leave much to be desired. That is something the Punjab Warriors must look at. But I must admit that I was mentally prepared to get 11 balles. And also, I was expecting half of DCL or more, wondering what I was going to say if we lost the game. And I was also mentally preparing myself as to what I can say if we lost the game. But the records will say that we won with double bonus or almost double bonus. You get my point? 15% is the double bonus. We got it almost 29.8% or something, which is almost double bonus is 30%. But I think Punjab Warriors are the real deal. And as far as I am concerned, for the Punjab Warriors, if they look back at the Glad's game and they look back at the previous game against Sterling Strikers, the game is not over until the fat lady sings. And in both cases, they celebrated a little early. And certainly in the Sterling Strikers case, when they had them on the mat 29 for 7, they couldn't deliver the knockout punch. In the Glad's game too, They had an opportunity to deliver the knockout punch if they had taken Taif early, but they did not, and they let us off the hook. And the next thing you know, we scored 81, and a top team, you give them 81, they will know how to defend. And I thought we did a masterful job of defending that 81. Ultimately, the game was not close from a bonus point of view, but it was certainly, my heart was not, Parthiv said my heart must have been in my mouth. Man, my heart was not in my mouth. My heart was already chewed up and almost digested and ready to come out from the posterior. That is how close it was, all right? It was not in my mouth. It was already in my stomach. So this game was a good game, but I walked away with a good respect for Punjab Warriors. They're a good team. That's all I can say. Good addition to DCL.
Absolutely. So, yep, considering we've already hit 8:45, we will try and go through these remaining games within the next 10 minutes, and I will try and make it as fast as I can. Next up is Blasters versus FCC Agni, which kind of helps our cause because this game unfortunately got rained out, which is a bit unfortunate for FCC Agni because they did a good job of restricting Blasters to 98 for 8. A total that the Blasters only managed because of Shanmugam and Naresh stitching together a rear guard partnership at the very end, along with Imtiaz, who stuck around for a gutsy 12. Agni would have fancied their chances, so it's too bad the game was rained out, but I did hear the game is going to be replayed. So hopefully Agni can try and put up a fight the next time round as well.
Avi, I'm going to pass on that game. It's a washed out game. I really don't want to further waste our time on that.
Agreed.
Avi, I'd like to go Javed Bhai and then we'll come back again.
Avi, maybe we'll come back and address the remaining games because I think we want to address the spotlight, and then I think at 9 o'clock the showcase game. I think Samish has a time constraint. He has a meeting at 9:30. Yeah.
Yes. So team spotlight for this week is on Team Canton 11, whose games we analyzed somewhat in the past. So again, Javed Bhai, it's a real pleasure to have you. I know we just saw each other this past weekend. We played against each other. But welcome. Glad to have you on the show.
Oh, thank you so much for everyone. Appreciate it. Thank you, Viju Bhai, Satya, Vinesh. Nice to be in the show. Satya called me yesterday regarding about come to the show. So I make my time. Say hi to everybody. I really like this show and watching continuous. I did not miss any show.
Thank you, Javed Bhai.
Thank you, Javed. Well. No, you're welcome.
No, thank you, Javed Bhai. It means a lot. I mean, it is people like you who promote the show and make it more interesting. And we like doing it for people who play fair. And you have always played fair. I had great respect for you, the way you have conducted yourself in the league and the way you manage your team. And the idea behind the show is to promote DCL and to promote the players and to promote the team. Nobody says anything good about us all these years we have played cricket. You get my point? How many ever runs we have scored. But here is an opportunity to highlight it. And not just for you, but even your family can see and say what others are saying about you, you see. And that's a great thing, when you can see family members and friends who can see what is really going on and the discussion which goes on and, how we can get better and support each other. But tremendous respect. Thank you for coming on the show. Go ahead, Avi.
Thank you very much. Yes, it was a real pleasure, actually. Javed Bhai, I must say I was very impressed with your bowling in particular, how you just kept plugging away outside off stump. So Canton 11, what I observed was you guys have the perfect T-ball bowling attack, as I call it. And trust me, it's not meant to be derisive in any way. I think your bowlers kept it straight, quick and simple. And if I remember correctly, you were quite unfortunate to have Vignesh dropped behind the stump, I think once or twice. I think even Neelakantan escaped.
Yeah, we dropped
a couple of times.
Catches, so, we dropped out of 6 catches.
Right. So I'd say, I did see the video of you guys playing against Glads, and I think that's the left arm bowler that Viju and Satya were referring to.
He did not play. He's out of a wedding, and Junaid out for his work. So we missed 2 key bowler,
Okay. So I was wondering if you had a conflict with any other league. That's not the case. They were out for personal reasons.
They're personal. They have one have a wedding and one have a job.
Javed Bhai, give me the good news. Tell me those 2 guys are playing this week in the brotherhood match of the century.
Yes, they are playing,
All right, that's what I wanted to hear. Now it is going to be Raza Ali versus Shivam. Let's see who is the big man now. Let's go on. All right, that's a great thing to hear because I had already, in the predictions, I had picked Canton 11 to win the game.
So have I.
I am super happy to hear Shivam and Junaid Mughal is going to be playing the game, baby. All right.
Right. So, Javed Bhai, for you obviously have some very good batsmen in your ranks. Adarsh was brilliant in his opening role, and you have a couple of other batsmen that can play. Hari was magnificent in the way he was clearing the boundaries. But what is your advice to the rest of the batsmen? You have the power hitting covered, and I remember before we played that game, everybody's point that to us was that, oh, they are a team of Afridis. They all go for it, and that's
no, not really.
And that didn't seem the case to me. The other opener at least was very sensible. He was just waiting for his time, just working around the singles and the twos. Right. So, what would your advice be as a captain to the rest of your team to back up those power hitters, because they can only get you so far?
The power hitter we are missing, the guy get run out, the very bad timing, the time he start pumping. If that guy, Yusuf can stay in the wicket, nobody can stop him, He can put whatever boundary he can cross the boundary, He get run out very bad time, then Harry Bhai get out in the very bad time. Then after that, we did not capitalize him. We lose 7 hours for nothing, After 90, we just make only 1-7. One time we're talking about in the dressing room, 150, 175 plus, But all the plans suddenly change when you lost wicket right away, All game plan change, We just try to defend, rotate, and try to keep play 25 hours, but it does not work out very well in the end.
Right.
But if we have good bowling spell, yes, we have Shivam over there, Junaid over there. It might be different, bowling wise, But we didn't give up. We fight till end. But when you drop the catches, 6 catch for good player, it's hard to win. One catch make a difference.
Great.
Javed bhai, quick question: who's your regular keeper? Shakil?
Shakil and Chandan and Shabazz. Mostly Shakil bhai,
Okay, now Shakil was the keeper against Blads, right? His back said Shakil. All right, I'm basing this on the video which I saw in the initial overs. Let's talk about the first 5 overs or 10 overs which Blads was batting. There was a guy behind the stumps. His back said Shakil. I do not know whether that is Shakil or he's wearing Shakil's jersey, but whoever he was, that guy is a good keeper. Yeah, that guy is a good keeper. Yeah, now, if it is Shakil, I think you need to put a rule in place that Shakil is going to be the keeper whenever he's not bowling. Simple as that. Because DCL doesn't have a rule which says that if you are keeping, you can't come and bowl the next over. So no reason. I think your best keeper should always keep behind the stumps, because that's where most of your catches are going to come. And I honestly felt he was a very good keeper. Now, I know that it said that it's Shakil. I'm just giving out the shout out that he is a genuinely good keeper. I'm saying this, because I'm seeing the game and I'm telling you that guy is an excellent keeper. So if you are having other people behind the stumps and catches are getting dropped, you're losing matches right there. Have your best keeper always keep. And I have told Satya the same thing. If Shan is playing, then we probably should have Shan keep. If Kishan is playing, Kishan should keep. It's only if those 2 guys are not available, then only we should look at other options, because your keeper is your best catcher and he can change so many games for you. So just a word of advice kind of a thing.
So much,
Any players on your team, Javed bhai, that you think you haven't used to their full potential in the couple of games that you've played as yet? You think anybody could have tried and changed the game against Pokiris, at least maybe bolstered that bowling a little bit?
We use everybody, we just try to, in the middle, we just try to give Harry 1 hour. It does not work out. We also have we try, Harry's a good bowler. Sometimes works, sometimes does not work. We try at least, try to break the partnership. And Harry always break the partnership, for us, for the Canton 11, Okay. He always does in the past too, but not for his stage that day,
Right. And unfortunately, that day, I think that was actually the 1 over that took the game away from you and swung it in the balance of the Pokiris. Because,
Javed Bhai, now this is a great platform for many in the league who do not know Canton 11 to know Canton 11's players. You as captain, if you had to highlight some of your players, this is the opportunity to highlight. Tell us what we do not know. We obviously know about Junaid Mughal, that he's a good bowler. We know that Shivam is a good bowler. We know that about your capabilities as both as a batsman and as a good left-arm spin bowler. We also know about Shakil and the opener Adarsh is really a good batsman. Tell us a little more about, now you mentioned about Yusuf Sultan, that he's a guy who can this thing. This is the first time I'm hearing about Yusuf Sultan.
This guy,
Yeah. So tell us something about what the league does not know. This is your grand opportunity to present your players to the league. You get my point? As a captain, please present your players to the league.
okay,
I would be happy to know about your players now that my Glad's game is done. But of course, I would like to give that opportunity for you to present your team to us. That's the idea behind Team Spotlight, after all.
Yeah. Just give me a 5 minute. And one of my key player, Harry Pavla, he worked very hard and he write down all the Canton 11 thing. If you don't mind, I can read for you guys.
Absolutely, go ahead.
About
That's good. That's good. You have done that. I really appreciate that. And please tell Hari Pallava that I have respect for him taking that time to do that to present. That is what Team Spotlight is all about. We want to spotlight the team. Simple as that. And a skipper who does not come and does not spotlight his team is doing a disservice to his team and should not be the skipper of his team. I'll be honest with you.
Right. Agree. But Harry done an excellent job, what we wrote. Let me read for you. We start on a positive note with a strong team in 2018. In 2021, we lost 5 key players, Mohit, Raza, Haider Bhatti, Haider Mushtaba, and Mr. Najat. All 4 players went for the different team, and Mr. Najat got some family issues, so he just told me he's going to stay away for this season. He will be joined, inshallah, 2022. Okay. We are holding the board for Canton 11 2019, but we are players who are consistent and capable performance that with the team since starting now getting a full-time chance. We have had some good players who are capable for winning matches on their day, like Sadat is also new addition. He's a very good hitter batsman. He plays Mishka as well. So he's going to play whenever he's available. Then we got a Sri Lankan guy, Silva. He's also very good all-rounder. And Yusuf played last year, but he does not play too many games. And new addition to Almas is a very good bowler, fast bowler. And we have a mix of young players like Shivam, Chandan, Ramzi, we're going to introduce this week game. And Almas, you already know, and Abdullah is a new young guy. He needed some work on, maybe 2-3 years. He'll be second Shivam, He just needs a lot of work, An exceptional player, we have a Mithubai, Harry Pavla, Adresh, Shehbaz, all these players, We have mixed cultural player for India, Pakistan, and Sri Lanka, They all gel very good to the team, Overall, all base and have everything we need. Only thing we worry about the player ability of some capable game, important game, And what was working for us this season so far, gelling and coordinator with the team, very good. As for core team has been playing in multiple different tournaments and are getting better each year. And we have players who can play fearless game against any opposition. Team have 4 good bowlers like Shivam, Bilal, Almas, Silva, and playing and being the positive and backing up each other. What was now working for this year so far? Be rusty in fielding to take those close chances, availability for all key bowler for a game due to the multiple tournament and family commitment. In last 5 hours, last 2 games, we are locking and we're not capitalizing on the start where we go through, Strategy against Sterling striker to continue being positive and play fearless like in our earlier game. Most disciplined bowling and fielding performance, restriction them to as low as possible, score low run. About score into passing, we have nothing in mind. We just kind of play fearless. It doesn't matter who Razak can bowl, whoever can bowl, our player already know they are ready to take a step and challenge, Key player to watch, say about player, whoever in your mind, you know what I mean? We just say all 12 players, we're going to do our best, you know, we fight for him, you know what I mean? And try to play all 25 over. And tips for the keep positive, give opportunity to every show, you know what I mean? Respect everyone, you know what I mean? Whenever was an opportunity, talk about our player and contribute so they will be happy. Last thing we want to say about Canton 11, there won't be an easy game for any team playing against Canton 11 season. We don't give up.
Thank you, Javed Bhai. I hope you're going to stay with us. I wanted to specifically ask you some questions, but Samish has a hard stop at 9:30, and the showcase game of the week we want to cover with Samish and who's representing GLCC, and Taifur Rahman, who's representing Glads. But I do want to cover about the game between brothers, which I really want to highlight on, you know. So I do have some questions on that. If you don't mind, please stay on. I would like to ask some more questions. All right, so sounds good. All right, Avi, over to you. We have our two great culprits who are ready for the showcase game of the week.
Javed Bhai, thank you very much for that. Actually, that was quite moving. And to be honest, based on what I saw, Canton 11 do seem like a pretty well-knit unit. So I certainly hope you can get your best 11 going forward in every game. And you rightly said that a game against Canton 11 is by no means an easy game at all. So we wish you and personally and the Canton 11 team the very best going forward. But of course, we will continue having you on the show for the moment. So, but I'd like to welcome two stalwarts of the league, Samish from Team GLCC. Thank you so much for joining us this evening, and Taif as well. Congratulations again on your exploits this past weekend. I think you single-handedly shepherded Glads to their victory over Punjab Warriors. So that was great to see. So welcome both of you gentlemen to the show tonight. Samish, personally, I know when we met a couple of weeks ago at Novi Power Park, you made a point after we had greeted each other to say that you hadn't had time to catch the show at that time, but you will make it a point to catch the show. And that's the kind of support we love and appreciate, and helps us to come back and keep doing this time and again. So I personally like to thank you and bring that to my fellow panelists' attention as well. So welcome once again, and great to have you here.
Thanks, Avinash. Yeah, and I haven't really had a chance to watch the shows, but I'm sure I'll catch up on it.
Yeah, we certainly
yeah, as far as I can tell, with the kind of panel you have, it's going to be exciting for sure.
Thank you. Thank you. So I'm sure our analysts are absolutely excited to ask you questions. Yes, Taif, welcome to you as well.
Taif, you're on mute.
You may want to unmute yourself. Bottom left of the screen, please. There you go.
Oh, sorry. Thank you, Avinash, for inviting me this show. I was watching the last couple weeks. You were an amazing host. You always know that. And DCL is a great family for us. It's a good league for everybody get together, know each other, and building our brotherhood. So it's a good thing for DCL committee, whoever organizing this show years after years. Thank you to the committee, and thank you for organizing this show, Biju and Avinash. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a great point. It echoes the point Javed made, right? I mean, look at this, the very people on the screen here. You have India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh, only missing Sri Lanka. And it's amazing how all of us have gotten together to become one family on occasion, thanks to cricket, which wouldn't have happened had we all just stayed in our respective countries. So this is so that way, cricket is indeed a great bond maker, so to speak. So I will, yes, this is an eagerly awaited game for all of us. And yes, Samish, unfortunately, you're outnumbered here, I think 4-1 in favor of, or 3-1 in favor of Glads. But I'm sure you can hold your own, and I can see.
I actually feel sorry for the person who picked us.
Sorry, what was that, Samish?
I said I actually feel sorry for the person who picked us, but hey, we'll try to help him out.
Modesty is always your forte, Samish. So, but Viju is eagerly leaning forward towards the screen to fire off his questions at you.
No, I think our missing analyst Parthiv Mehta already sent in a bunch of questions for you, Samish. Welcome to the show. Happy to see you after a long time.
Thanks,
welcome to
Viju.
see.
Great to see you, actually. Sorry, I didn't
Well-
mean to interrupt, but I had to get my thank you across and the message across.
No, I mean, definitely it brings back old memories. And so,
Yeah.
and let me tell you, Glads versus GLCC is a great rivalry, but GLCC versus Megabytes was another great rivalry. But if you ask me, there was a difference between the two rivalries. I think this is just my point of view. You might have a differing opinion. That's okay. But from where I could see it, I felt that the GLCC Megabytes rivalry had a lot of bad blood too. There was a lot of lack of respect. But at least when it came to the Glads versus GLC, there was rivalry for the 4 hours on the field. But once that game was over, there was tremendous respect, at least between the players and at least between the skippers themselves. Yes, during that 4 hours, you would probably hear me say a few things and I will hear you say a few things. But that's all part of the game. And I think we were mature enough to understand that and appreciate what the other person can bring to the table and leave it all out on the field and not take it beyond that. But anyway, I will let Avi ask the questions which Parthiv had for you, because Parthiv especially sent some questions and observations about all the games. I think our analysts, both Satya and Avi, have ignored everything which Parthiv wrote about all the teams so far, and they have given their own opinions. But at least, hopefully, they can ask the questions which Parthiv had. At least
hey, we didn't want to get the show under 2 hours, so we had to ignore Parthiv. I'm sure he's going to respond when he comes back. But opening up, I guess, to Samesh first. So who do you think are the players to watch out for in GLCC? One thing, and I might be mistaken here, one thing that's amazed me about GLCC is you've pretty much held on to your squad for quite a few years now. I mean, you guys are aging like fine wine, no doubt. But I don't think you've gone down the route of mergers and acquisitions as much as say a Glads or an Indus team. You can correct me if I'm wrong. But so, who do you think are the players to continue watching out for in GLCC?
Well, I'll talk a bit about mergers, and I'm sure Viju is a little aware of. We are a little picky about who we bring into our team. And that's the reason you won't see a wholesale team come into and join with us. We like people who are more team oriented, who play for the team and who sort of mix with our culture. So having said that, that's the reason a lot of people stay with us as well, because we are all like-minded people. And that's the reason most of them have stayed with us for this long. But this year we have had a few additions, and we were lucky to have those. I think we all know about Navpreet has joined GLCC, Hemant has joined GLCC, and then there might be another surprise, which I'm not ready to talk about yet. But but we have these two are definitely going to add to what we felt we were missing last year. They are both pretty good DCL all-rounders, and they can win games for you with either bat or ball. So these are two main players we have added. We have actually a couple other players who are exceptional batsmen. We have Devi, who's playing with us, and then Tanmay is back. I'm sure Viju remembers Tanmay. He's our old Canton teammate,
Yep.
Viju, and
Yep.
he's back in GLCC. He was always with us, but due to his commitments, he wasn't able to play. But he may be able to play a few more games. Having said that, sorry, go ahead.
I'm sure I'll see him this weekend.
Yeah. I don't know if I forgot. Oh, actually, Roshan. Roshan might be able to play a few games with us. I'm sorry. I'll work on the lights here, but Roshan is another addition who would like to play a few more games with us. But I feel, other than that, everybody who was with GLCC last year is back this year as well, and we are hoping that we'll go a step further at least. Hey, sorry, I'll turn the lights on and be right back, okay?
What are the smart lights where you have to wave or something? So the counterpoint, obviously, to that is the Glads team, right? I mean, so if you want me to paraphrase Parthiv, exactly, time and again, people always wonder how is it that Glads have managed to amalgamate and attract and amalgamate teams from such different players. Taif, you yourself came from Arsenal, and then of course you did get Kishan, Sudhir, and I forget one more player from Bridges as well. And but Glads have gelled, and of course Shanawaz from formerly TCA Stallions. But Glads have managed to build that team together and somehow engendered spirit amongst these disparate players that you've pulled together to form a team. Yes, your core has of the Ronaks and your and Arjun and Hardeep has stayed intact, but how is it that what's that secret sauce that to use Parthiv's exact phrase that keeps Glads together as a unit? Like I asked in the first week, is it the performances that engenders team spirit, or is it the other way around, or is it somewhere in the middle? I guess I'll let both Taif and Viju kind of collaborate on this answer.
I'll defer to Taif. He's our guest. He's the
Yes,
one
Taif,
who's
you can't just
representing.
get away with staying on mute for the entire week. Come on.
Yeah, he's representing the Glads team. So
right.
Okay. Well, if you say like this way, Obi, I would say it's a long discussion to say how we're gonna get a team, because collecting all the gels from all 3-4 different teams is not an easy task, and having them for years. But Glads manage very well because of, I would say, Biju is the key person who managed behind all of this. And one more thing I could say, like we had a game with Biju, and mixing up with Arsenal and Bridges was Telugu Cup. Biju, it was Telugu Cup or Tamil Cup? I'm not sure.
yeah, it was a Tana Cup. It was Telugu North America Association or something like that.
Correct. So this is where we actually first we merged with Glads and couple guys from Bridges, and we say like, okay, this works pretty well. When we worked there, like it's gelled very well. We had a very good result on it. So we actually then Biju, we actually decided how we can do that if we can gel up like this. And it works because we have the same types of mentality of playing competitive game. Like all these guys, all these teams, they want good cricket with good competitive cricket. They want to win, but at the same time, we should have a good relationship with ours. So whoever in Glad's team, we like all of them that think it's like a family. Like I've been here for last 4 years. It's like 4 years. This is the 4th year. It's like everybody treating like same way. Every players, which is really amazing for everybody. It doesn't feel like you are like discriminating in the team or anywhere. It is well, like our players come, they do not have to bat and ball. They just come to play and make fun. This is how is their mentality is. So whenever a player shows like this types of mentality on the ground, the other players, they post up right away. Like I feel like if I go and I just field up for a team, I got lesson from there too. Like I saw some players, they just came only for fielding. Whole innings, they just fielding. They didn't get the chance batting or bowling, but they enjoyed. This is a lesson for me too. Like I also now enjoy everywhere. Whenever I go, I feel that way. Like I'm in the game. I enjoy the game. This is it. I don't have to be part for the batting or bowling. I want to be part of the team. So I feel this way, and this is a good lesson for me for all from some of the players who teach me this lesson from here. And I think this is how Glads are building the team here.
That's
I
actually
think Biju can accept more. Yeah.
That's a good point you make, and I'd like to call out Satya right now, because you can say that yes, it's easy being captain of a team that has such talent, and he probably doesn't have to do anything and just pick a random guy to bat or bowl, and you guys might win. But to actually balance the expectations of all these stars and to manage
one more thing I want to add over here. One more thing I want to add, like the captain Satya. This is also a good part of this. Like whenever you say Satya, there is any decision making in a good or bad, whatever it is, he's the guy. Whatever you say, he always smile. Whenever a guy smiles at you, nobody can yell at him. So this is the person who keeping this team, united together. Like it's a very good captaincy under with all of this talent here in this team.
Absolutely.
So yeah, you have to give credit to this guy, Satya.
Right, absolutely. Although you play long enough with him, you can try and differentiate between the smile of happiness and the smile of frustration. But
It is.
but Samish, going to you. So GLCC versus Glads doesn't get bigger than this. So how do you approach and build towards this game? What is it that is going on in your team WhatsApp chats right now? How are you motivating yourselves to face this juggernaut that's rolling towards you? Samish, you're probably on mute.
Sorry, guys. I was saying that, frankly, there's no chat. No disrespect to Gladiators or any other team. We usually treat every team the same. We tend not to be worried about who is coming to play on the other side. We just try to do the best that we can. And then if we win, we win. If we don't, we don't. And I hope that's not just me, that's the rest of the players in our team as well. But definitely there is no preparation for one game. If there is a preparation, it's for the playoffs, and that happens during the season. And that also is not through meetings or anything. That is through a little tip on field or something like that. We try to keep a relaxed atmosphere and hope that when the game is under, when it's a tight game, our players don't feel that pressure and crumble to that pressure instead of crumbling to the opposition. So that's how we take it. But I'm sure there's going to be some nerves, but hopefully we'll be able to handle it.
Well, that's actually an interesting point. Well, on the one hand, you have captains like Sandeep Gopu, right, who probably analyzes the wind direction and the humidity percentages before every game. And
yeah, don't get me wrong. We analyze everything. We plan a lot of things, but there isn't a specific discussion for a particular team. In the end, it all boils down to you giving your best. If we have a team, right? We have 11 players who we think can compete against any other team here. So if we have those players, all they need to do is play their best. And if they do, then I don't think there's any team in the league that can really beat us, but us. But then that's what I think. Others may not think that.
Well, the confidence in your ranks that you have is clearly palpable. So I have an astounding statistic from Parthiv. Correct me if I'm wrong, Taif. So apparently Glads haven't gotten the better of GLCC yet in this decade. So it's, I don't know if that means the preceding 10 years.
I think that's not right. Actually, this is the decade they beat us.
Yeah,
Parthiv lives in Pluto, all right? Parthiv has no clue. Parthiv doesn't even know a discussion which goes on in the committee as to whether somebody was sponsoring a team. And he said he was going to come back, and he never came back to it because I suspect he found out the answer was that there was some team being sponsored. You get my point? But outside sources have confirmed to me that that was the case, and he never came back on. Honestly, when I saw that note from Parthiv, I was laughing because I don't know where Parthiv got that idea from. But Parthiv lives in Pluto. I can P and P matches together, I guess. So that's okay. If Parthiv wants to believe that, he can believe that.
I started typing out a message in response to that saying, "Are you for real?" And then,
Avinash, to be frank with you, this rivalry is heavily one-sided, which I think Viju will accept.
I agree.
And I'm talking about DCL, not about any other tournament. Any other tournament, I think Gladiators have a better record against us. But when it comes to DCL, it's a heavily one-sided rivalry, I would say. But again, we haven't played the best of Glads for the last 6 years, right? I don't think we have played after 2017.
Probably,
Viju.
Yeah,
2017
17 we played, and then after that, this will
15
be the first.
You beat us, 17 we beat you, and then.
So I mean, I will agree with Samish on that. He's 100% right. It's a one-sided rivalry if you really want to look at it that way, in the sense that we have many of the wins, if you ask me, I suffered as Lansing skipper or in the Lansing team. Very first year we formed Glads, we beat GLCC in the very first year. That game Samish did not play. He came a little late, but he fielded, but he did not play that game. Namburi led that game. That was the very first year Glads was formed, and we didn't even have a prayer to win that game, but actually that game we won handily. But if you really look at it in DCL, the record is definitely in favor of GLCC. I will definitely agree with that. So in that sense, Partha would be right, but to say that we have never beaten GLCC is completely wrong. But
and
if
again,
of all the teams, our record is worst against GLCC. And if Megabytes, if you went back and looked at Megabytes have a losing record against Glads. That is the only team probably against whom they had a losing record, and they beat everybody else. But somehow, some teams, when you play against each other,
I think they have a losing record against us too, if you really look at the whole DCL history. But with you in particular, I would think that we got lucky that we haven't played you since 2017. So those probably were the best teams you have put in place, and probably the weakest years for us. So I think that definitely tilts it in our favor. But again, I think if we played you more recently, it would be much more evenly.
Probably
if not,
a 50-50
for you.
Yeah,
or
probably
better for you. I'm willing to agree that.
No, I
you
mean,
guys have a great team.
No, I think the 2019 team, even though we did not win it, I thought the 2019 team was, in terms of talent, the best talented team which we ever put. The 2018 team, again, we had tremendous chemistry. We won it. But I personally, for all records, 2019 was the best team. But we added some players. But having said that, yes, I think this is a great rivalry. Samish, I had a question for you. You have mentioned this to me before. Maybe you recall that. You told me nothing motivates you like playing against Glads. Now, please elaborate on that. What is the reason? Now I'm asking it to you on national television.
Did I actually say that?
Yeah, you did say that.
Well, not just you.
So
right now
I'll tell you. There are a couple teams. You already mentioned Megabytes and us had a great rivalry. You and us had a great rivalry, and then I think there is Brownstown as well. But the difference between Brownstown and others was that with Brownstown, we are always chummy outside, right? We are happy with each other. There's always smiles going around. So we don't see them as big rivals. We see them as friends playing cricket together. But with Megabytes, it was a little opposite because for a good decade, we both thought that we were the best team, and we both had credentials to prove that to ourselves and think like that. So that probably was the game that would get me charged up most. But then with Gladiators, the reason I would say charges you more is because you have great players. So, there's as we are aging, we want to, once you had said that you compared your team with GLCC to see how Glads were. And it's opposite now because you guys are doing so well. We want to compete with you. So when I go on the field and I'm looking at Arjun or Ronak or in those days, Maulik Patel and everybody else, now you have, many more, Aditya, everybody else. So when I play with them, I want to get ahead. I want to do better against these good players, and that's what motivates me. And I'm sure that's how it is with others in our team as well. You are playing against the best, supposedly the best team on the field. I said supposedly because, in the end, it's DCL. Who wins DCL is the best team for that year. But you guys have been a consistently great team, and that's where I think it charges us more because we want to compete against you. And Avi, it's same with Pokris too. You guys have been great for the last few years. So we want to do well against the teams that are considered better than us.
Although we did get walloped for 22 a few years back against you guys, so that's one record we'd like to set.
Don't
right.
forget the 183 the year after.
That's right. Yes,
I'm just
mercifully
kidding.
I wasn't there that day. But I did hear of the absolute carnage that happened. Yes, you're right.
I'm just kidding. It doesn't matter in the end.
You don't have to. It's when you've cut out and left a team to dry. There's nothing wrong in actually saying it out loud as well. I know you have a hard stop at 9:30. Sorry, go ahead, Samish. Yes, please.
Yeah, I was just hoping I answered Viju's question, and
please go ahead.
I'd request him to tell his team to take it easy on us because we are struggling to place 11 this.
Samish, you're coming in with tremendous momentum. If you saw the Glads team, they are coming in with zero momentum. And if you ask me, this is a game which is ripe for us to get thrashed big time. And we are just hoping that, the same momentum which you showed against the first two teams, you don't take it out on us like this way. But I'm looking forward.
I wish I could, but we have some injuries in the team, so that is going to.
But I'm looking forward to this new addition which you have, which you seem to be pretty excited about. But we don't have necessarily the best team which we could put this weekend. Taif himself will not be playing. He's in Kansas City. So that is a big loss for us. I mean, if you ask me who is the biggest fighter on our team, I would say Taif and Hardeep, they really, really fight. And Arjun fights in his own special way. You don't necessarily see it in the facial reaction. These two guys are incredibly, they put their heart out, especially Taif. I mean, I told him he needs to rent a car and drive down. I have not been able to convince him, but I think if it was DCL playoffs, I probably would have read the riot act for him. But yeah, I mean, let me ask you another question. This is a great game for other teams to watch. Now, many teams, you already mentioned this once, which is that Glads modeled, looked up to GLCC, and that's true. And I'll admit this publicly. I mean, we were getting thrashed, and this is a lesson for new teams. This is that, you know what, you can get thrashed, but if you have the right attitude to improve, you can improve, because there are a few teams who are getting thrashed every week. But Glads was getting thrashed by GLCC, and you guys had a guy named Vijay Namburi, and you know this better than everybody else. A lot of people hated GLCC only because of Namburi, not necessarily because of anybody else. But we hated GLCC because of Namburi, and I can honestly look at you in the eye and say that, because Namburi used to make fun of our players and mock them and say that this short fellow, hit it to him and run, he cannot feel. You know, when you hear that, your blood starts boiling. He's your buddy, he's your teammate, so you want to this thing. So, you know, I kept it in my mind, and I said, well, you know what, they are the better team, and we didn't have the kind of talent. So slowly I went about recruiting more talent so that we can compete and we can make this a more even game. I could either wallow in pity, in self-pity, or I can do something about it. And so I chose to do something about it. But coming back to the point, the other day, Yogesh said that he models himself against us. And, you know, he tries to see what Glads is doing and tries to see how he can incorporate some of that. But I can honestly say Glads looked to GLCC and see what GLCC was doing. And we took, and as you said, you know, you took only players who meet a certain criteria. And when we went about also, we did the same thing. We added Taif only because I got along well with him. We had great chemistry. When we added Bridges, it was a no-brainer addition for us because we had perfect chemistry. And Kishan and I got along so well. And many of their players and us, we knew each other, joked around with each other. For us, it was a no-brainer addition. There was really nothing much to do. All you just is put the ingredients, and the ingredients will do the job automatically. But this is a great opportunity for players who are outside the league, who are not part of these teams, to look at this game, not only just from a strategy point of view, because you will see some great strategy, and you'll see, I mean, at least if I was there, every decision which Glads takes is with a certain outcome in mind. And I know it is the same thing with you. You plan a bowling change, or who is going to bowl, and, you know, with a certain outcome in mind. And, you know, every decision there is taken deliberately. Oftentimes it's like a chess game, and these are things which people do not outside realize it. But you already said you analyze everything. It's not that you might say it publicly, but, you know, it's the same thing. I have seen you go and analyze other games just watching. And the real reason is you're trying to take information and you're trying to see what their team is doing and what their strengths are and what their weaknesses are. And I have done the same thing multiple times throughout my career. I do not know if Satya is doing that, but it's really a chess match played on a cricketing ground. And there is obviously tremendous history. And then you are also seeing great players who make a name for themselves by having a special one shining moment. My question to you is, what advice would you have for some of these new teams coming along as to what they can learn from seeing this spectacle? And it's sad that this game has been shunted to Ann Arbor. And Avi, let me tell you something. When Roger Federer is playing Rafael Nadal or Novak Djokovic at Wimbledon, they always play on center court. And I do not know these characters in the DCL committee. And I know Satya is a part of the DCL committee, and Parthiv is a part of the DCL committee. These guys have nothing called marketing sense, because if they had 1 ounce of marketing sense, they would have said, you know what? A game such as this has to be held in Novi Power Park or somewhere which is central, where there'll be a lot of other people who can come.
Yes.
You say that our brand is losing appeal and we are not getting, it's not the same as 3-4 years ago. Look at the decisions which you're making. Avi, I feel that Satya has done an absolutely ridiculous job inside the committee, at least as far as Glads is concerned, because they have been sitting and throwing grapes into his mouth, and he has been eating grapes. This is the second time we are going to Ann Arbor, and there are multiple teams which has not even gone to Ann Arbor even once. There is a simple rule: let everybody go to Ann Arbor once, then you go a second time. We are going second time, and you have not only that, you have taken the best game of the season, what Parthiv called the mother of all showcase games. Well, you've taken the mother of all showcase games and put it on a crappy ground, which is not such a good ground, and you've shunted it to Ann Arbor so that nobody else can watch it. And the only way to watch it is probably seeing it on live screening if Satya screens it. But honestly, if they have a little bit of marketing sense, they would say, you know what, just like in the playoffs where we try to put everything in Novi Power Park, there are some games which has to be put. And anyway, these things are not randomized. These are done selectively. So somebody sitting in the committee is doing an absolutely horrible job. Let me tell you that. Let me get that out of the way, because here is an opportunity. But coming back to Parth, and Satya has sat there and done nothing for Glads. Let me tell you that. He has sat there and ate grapes. But coming back to Samish. Samish, what can teams learn from this game? What would be your advice to some upcoming team? What they can learn from this game?
So there are two kinds of teams, right? Some come play DCL just because they want to be part of cricket. They want to play cricket. They come. It doesn't matter to them whether they are winning or whether they are losing. They come, they play, they go home, and they're happy with the results. Then there are some teams who are here to actually win this game, right, or win the championship. They take it much more seriously than international game. Some people would take an international game. So I would say that one thing is that you should want to win, right? Then the other thing is that you look at the teams that you have played with and see what you can do to improve yourself. A good example is that a while back, Glads would be looking up to us to see how we are doing things. And now you are the team that we are looking to beat. So if you really want to be part of this elite group of teams, you have to learn from the teams that are actually already doing it. That would be my suggestion. And again, you should have that will to do it, right? If you don't want to win, then it doesn't really matter whether you come and watch the game or not. You can come for entertainment purpose, but not for learning. To see how we are doing things. And now you are the team that we are looking to beat. So if you really...
Oh, I think it was Sandeep joining in and listening simultaneously on YouTube. Samish,
Right.
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, that's about it. I think what they want to come in and see is that what these teams are doing, how they are trying to tackle these big players or trying to win these games, and how they have kept their teams together over the years. What we do is we know we want to win, and then we make our team. We already have a core, and then we see, okay, what do we lack? What is missing in our team that we need to improve? And every year, some years we get lucky and we find the players, but this competition is so competitive that you don't find good players anymore. They are already taken by other teams.
By glad.
So I would say pokeries too, but hey. And this year Blasters now.
Right.
That's another yeah. And I know I'm missing at least 5-6 good teams here, but these are the yearly culprits who are up there in top 8. Hey Avi, I'm sorry I have to go. If you guys
Samish,
don't mind,
one quick
Sure.
question for you. It's just a one-word answer. Who will be the star for GLCC in this mother of all showcase game of the week?
I think it will be the person whose name I haven't mentioned yet.
All right,
All
sounds
right.
good. Fair enough. Taif, same question to you. Who is going to be the glad star player for this showcase game of the week? You're on mute, my friend.
So this is gonna be a tough answer for me because we have 12 players. We are not
You
going
have
with
20
one player.
superstars, obviously.
Yep.
Right.
No. We are going with
One
12
name,
players.
Taif. One
No,
name. Your
because
gut.
out of this 12, any of them can perform on. Like I
That's
have trust on any
that's a
of them.
weak
Cut
This
the
is
that's
the
a
thing.
weak answer. That's a weak answer. That's a very weak answer. You have to give one name. One name. He has already said that it is the player whom he can't reveal. That's fine. But your gut, one person, I don't care who it is. Doesn't matter whether they like it or not. But
I know, but you know, if everybody, any of them can take this game out from like if on their day, like whoever
I know, but
team against
whose
playing,
day is it going to
but
be?
it is gonna be. I would say most of them are like big game players. If you go there, Hardeep, Arjun, Ronak, Shan, then we have Vaibhav, like everybody. If one of them gets sad, then yeah, game is done. Whatever bowling it is. I would say I will pick Arjun for betting. Like he's always big game player. So my bet for Arjun.
All right,
Right,
Sandeep.
so we know
they'll
who
take
all
the
are
game away.
playing.
Well, Sandeep Gopu says it's Ronak U Patel. So everybody has their own opinion. That's fair
Viju,
enough.
by the way, I'm a big fan of Vaibhav's batting. He probably doesn't know who I am, even know who I
Okay.
am, but
Well,
I like his batting.
We are also fond of Vaibhav, so we
right.
like Vaibhav
All
a
right.
lot. All right, sounds
Thanks,
good.
guys.
Thank you for coming
Yep.
on the show.
Smooth,
Yep,
professional,
thanks.
and ruthless. Thank you, Samish, for joining.
Yep, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And we'd like to welcome to our show this evening our first caller from outside of the panel and the guests that we usually invite. Sandeep Gopu, thank you so much. I know a lot of you probably were wondering, why is this guy looking down on his phone when someone that they have invited on the show is talking? That's because we were desperately trying to coordinate how to get Gopu on, because Gopu was texting me asking how does he get onto the show. So
I thought
welcome,
we used to post something saying how people can get on the show, and Satya has conveniently got rid of that. I thought Parthiv had suggested that put that on every screen.
Right, and I think and that's why I was doing the three-way coordination between myself, Satya, and Sandeep, and I'm glad that it's finally come to fruition. Sandeep, welcome to DCL Prime Time. It's great to have you here, buddy.
Hey, thanks Avi, and thanks Satya. I mean, I know, sorry for interrupting your show, but I was really excited to get back on the show. And
can we see your video, Sandeep?
Yes,
or,
exactly. Turn that camera on.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
we are seeing us there. Who's we like to see your pretty face.
Right.
I'm not that pretty, but thanks for that, Riju. I mean, I'm really excited to basically wanted to discuss when Samish was on the call as well, but unfortunately he dropped off. But this is one of the games I've been looking forward for. And the reason I picked, when you said who would be the star for Glads, the reason I picked Ronak U Patel was If I remember it correctly, I don't remember the year exactly, but when GLCC versus Glads was playing, I think I don't know if Glads was chasing 140 or Glads was scored 140 in the first innings. But I remember Ronak U. Patel, who was very, very much pumped up, and he was one of the guys, and he's a very close friend of mine. And he scored around 40, 42 something. And I'm pretty sure he would be one of the guys, other than Arjun, if I'm not wrong, would be one of the stars for Glads for this week. And I'm fortunately looking for Ronak to perform so badly. So he's one of my good friend, and I'm really looking forward for Ronak to perform. And irrespective of whatever the result is, I will be happy because, as I already mentioned, like GLCC is one of the inspiration for Indus Thunders, especially when I took over. And GLCC definitely had a lot of inspiration from my end because I think I learned a lot personally from Samish and Viju, you also, as I told you multiple times when I played with you Thana in the Thana tournament. But yeah, I mean, that's the reason I wanted to join the show. I've been trying to call the other numbers, but somehow I could not get connected. But glad that I'm on the show. So thanks for accepting me on the show.
Oh,
No,
real pleasure.
we in fact have a segment for viewers to call in, but unfortunately we have to display the number, and Satya has to take this to heart, that he has to display that number on the top left-hand corner every single time and on every single screen. Otherwise, people are not going to know how to do it. So that's again.
Can I add one thing here?
Yeah,
I want
sure.
to add one thing here. After watching Goku after like long years, like I think 2 years, it looks like he's losing hair like Biju because he is like doing so much notes at home for DCL and he's losing his hair like Biju.
To be honest, Taif Bhai, I'm just trying to see how can I get you to the Indus Thunders group. How about it?
Oh, okay,
Oh,
sure.
knock it off, man. You probably won't even get him to play a game.
I'm excited, bro.
No, but I mean, honestly, Taif Bhai, I think, I've been watching not watching, but at least following the Punjab Warriors game. Kudos to you. I think you're a star player. I mean, irrespective of whichever team you play for, because I've been a big fan of you from wherever you played from Brownstown and all.
And he's playing with a broken hand. Remember that he's playing with a broken hand.
Oh, that I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
his
really
hand is
bad.
broke. His hand is broken, and he was like, he might not play this season. And I told Satya,
Wow.
don't listen to Taif. You know, Taif. No, I know Taif. He'll somehow figure out a way to play. His doctor had told him 6 months nothing, but he's still playing. And in that game, we said that Taif can bowl lights out because his right hand, it's his left hand which is broken. But he said he can't do, pull shots and things like that. But, I know Taif, when the adrenaline runs in, he can do anything. Gopu, I want to tell you something. 2018 finals, Taif is injured. And this is for everybody. You want to know what differentiates a good or a great team from an average team. Taif is injured. He has severe pain in his abdomen. He can't really bowl. He told me that he can't bowl. And I know that the Glads bowling is weak. Going into the Knockers game, I knew that the Glads bowling is weak. And I told Taif that he has to bowl. And so I remember asking Arjun to bring some special gel from his pharmacy. This is special top class gel, which costs, I don't know, an arm and a leg, $400, $500. Anyway, Arjun got the gel. There were two kinds of gel given, and Taif applied all the gel. He still is having pain. And I told Taif, I need at least 2 overs from you. I can somehow manage the other 3 overs, but I need 2 overs from you. And this is, I'm saying this publicly because people need to know what kind of sacrifices go in. And oftentimes they think that, oh, these teams are just winning just like that because they have great talent. No, don't even think that for a moment. Yes, we have great talent, but we push that great talent to perform. And we told Taif that he has to bowl. I didn't give him an option that he can't bowl. Now, we had the same situation with Jawad in the very first game against Canton 11, where he said he can't bowl because he had a tennis elbow. And Satya said, no, you have to bowl. And he bowled well. So coming back to Taif, He gave me not one, he didn't give me two, he gave me 3 solid overs. And he gave probably 3 or 4 runs. It was mainly in wides. It was not off the bat. Off the bat, maybe 1 or 2 runs might have been conceded. But it was lights out bowling. And once I got the 3 overs, I knew I was in the driver's seat. So even though I was not playing the game from outside, I was telling what needs to happen. And I was pushing Taif to give. And that is the kind of person that Taif is. So when you ask me who can really fight, oftentimes teams which can fight really hard, when I say not physical fight, I'm talking about bringing and leaving your heart on the field. And Taif is a guy who gives his heart on the field. And that's why I was insisting on him that, he should somehow come and play. Unfortunately, he has to work on Saturday. Otherwise, I would have tried to convince him to come and play, on drive on Friday night and come and play the game, because it doesn't get better than this. You can maybe play Indus Thunders, you can play GLCC, and you can play Pokeries. At this point of time, those 3 teams are definitely top-notch teams. I'll have to reserve my comments on Blasters. I haven't seen Blasters in full action, but we'll see what happens. But I think,
no, absolutely with you. I think I totally respect whatever you just said about Taif, and I think irrespective of that's a great honor to be like part of the team of such a player being part of the team. And I think whenever I saw him from Brownstone, Arsenal, and now in Glads, he's totally a great person. And irrespective of like how big of a player is, but wholeheartedly, he's a wonderful person. And I know personally, and whenever I met him, he smiles and just say, "Hi, Gopu," and not only me, but everybody else. So I think that's a great attitude to have for anyone. So I totally respect that.
And actually, that is the reason why we have him represent the Glads team today. When it came to who is going to represent Glads team, I told Satya, the number one person I want to represent Glads team is Taif, because I know what Taif brings to the table. Very humble, very down-to-earth guy. He fights like crazy. I have always told Taif, I'll go to any battle with anybody as long as he's there on my team. And it's not about talent. Yes, we have more talented players than him on our team, but I cannot tell you how many other guys I have more willing to fight and give every drop of blood on the field. And what I saw in the 2018 final was nothing short of miraculous in terms of a person laying his body on the line. And if we won it, it's because of people like him. People will remember the Munich 6 forever and say that that's the shot which won them the game. Yes, that is the shot which won us the game. But that's total wouldn't have been 60 if not for Taif's 3 overs, you see. So that is something which people do not. And yes, Arjun was the match winner and the MVP of the finals and all that. So let's not take anything away from those things. But if you ask me, one critical aspect which nobody knows is this guy was suffering from that severe injury, and I felt bad because it was black and blue after he bowled that 3 overs. And I felt I was a heartless thug making this guy bowl that 3 overs. But I have tremendous respect for him. And I know that so many people try to recruit him and say that, come leave Glads and, come and play, and I can give it to them in writing. They are wasting their breath. He's not going anywhere, at least as long as I'm there. But that's a different thing.
I think that's really good. But anyways, I think to total respect to Taif, and irrespective of whichever team he plays for, I wholeheartedly have a lot of respect for him, and wish him all the good luck, and wish him he recovers from all the injuries, and because we really wanted to see the best of him, irrespective of he's in the opposition or he's in the same team. But Taif bhai, all the best, and looking forward for your ultimate performance. I know you're being very good against Punjab Warriors, but looking forward for the ultimate performance from you.
Thank you for your kind words, Sandeep. You guys saying too much for me, but I'm not like wanted for that. But thank you for your words. And one thing I want to mention here, don't give it to on air and my family. Okay, Obi, if she knows, I'm gonna be fired there. She don't know I'm playing with my broken hand. Okay, just joke. Just kidding. Okay, so playing. I'm gonna miss this GLC game because you are not gonna part of this types of game in DCL every year. Like it's rarely you can get a couple of good games in the whole season, 4 or 5 good teams which you always want to play, and teams like Pokeris in the standards, Brownstown or GLCC. It's like not only playing good team, those are the players we always play each other in, not only DCL in Mishka or other leagues. We always see each other and it doesn't feel like we are playing each against. It's like feels like our own player. We are all brothers. So that's how I feel like whenever I go to the field. It doesn't feel like we are playing against an opponent whenever these teams comes there. We know everybody against who are playing us. We know everybody how they're gonna shots. Every shots we know which shot they're gonna play where. We know everybody. So this is the fun part of this playing against these teams. We know against who are you playing with, and every time you can be chill on the ground. So yeah, thank you guys.
Sure, all right, thank you, Taif, and
Yeah.
I think that covers the showcase game of the week. I think we did a pretty decent job on the showcase game of the week. But what happened is basically both Taif and Samish came well prepared. So I think that helps. Thank you, Taif. I don't want to hold you up, but you're welcome to stay on the show. But we want to definitely get back to Javed. Thank you, Gopu, for signing in, and you can always jab button and offer your comments.
I only have one axe to grind with Gopu before you go any further, Gopu, because you came on our first show and said, please go ahead for 3 or 4 hours. It's extremely entertaining and I love it. We have taken that to heart and we keep keeping our time records. So
it's not just Gopu. Vatnala also said the same thing. And the next thing you know, every week we say we should cut down the time. But every week we break the previous week's time. It's ridiculous.
I see poor Javed's face there, and he's sitting like this. Like, okay, it's already been a couple of hours that I've been sitting.
But if I know Javed well, he enjoys this, So
yes,
so he'll be there.
Agreed.
Before I leave,
the passion and the support. Thank you.
Yeah. Ahead, before I leave, Avi, thank you so much for accepting. And I know it wasn't as planned, but thank you, because I was so excited to be part of the show. But just one thing I wanted to challenge to Glads and Viju and Satya. I wanted to see Ronak U. Patel, who will be performing as per my analysis. I think he would be the star. Everybody thinks Arjun, but I think apart from Arjun, I think Ronak U. Patel, who would be the star. Okay. I believe he needs to get opportunity in both the ends, like batting and bowling. I think he would be one of the players to look forward for this weekend from Glad's perspective. And GLCC, I know Samish, that's why I wanted to join when Samish was part of the call, but I had some questions, but anyways, he left the call. But I think definitely I would say this is a cracker of a game and definitely one of the best showcase for the entire DCL 2021 season. So wish you all the best for both of the teams. And Javed Bhai, I know Canton 11, how hard you have put in from your end to build the team. And I see a lot of good, Shahbaz, who was part of Indus earlier, maybe a few years back. But I think I see a lot of respect for Canton 11 and the way they're playing and winning the games. I know this season you lost a couple of games, but I think you have a great team to get back on track. And looking forward for your team to show some great fight back and Canton 11 in the playoffs from your pool. So all the best, and thank you, Avi, Satya, for accepting, and good luck for all the things that you're doing for DCL Prime Time, and looking forward for more fun time in this DCL Prime Time.
Gopu, before you drop off, I wanted to say that thank you for coming on the show, and really it was a pleasure having you on. With regards to the losses which Javed had, there are something called good losses and bad losses. Okay. I honestly think those 2 losses which he had are to Glads and Pokeris, so they are okay, that's fine. But if you ask me, this is the first showcase game of the week to get all 4 votes. Up till now, the 3 showcase game of the weeks which we had, it was always 3:1. But the first time Glads versus GLCC got all 4 votes from all 4 analysts. But I agree with you, this is a top-class showcase game of the week. But for a guy like Javed, I'll be honest with you that if Glads versus GLCC was not playing, I would have loved to give my vote for Canton 11 versus Sterling Strikers. It is the battle of the brothers, and it is that that inbuilt chemistry. You can be very sure neither of them wants to lose to the other, and so this would be the other game on which I have an eye, because yes, Raj versus GLCC will dominate the headlines, but this is the one game where I know both of them desperately do not want to lose. If they had a choice to lose to any other team, this is the one team to which they don't want to lose, because they both want to come and prove a point. And
no, absolutely, Viju. I totally agree with you. And as I said, total respect to Canton 11 and Javed Bhai. And Sterling Strikers, I know it was basically from FHCC to Sterling Strikers right now. But I have actually watched the game Sterling Strikers versus Phantoms game last weekend just for some time, and I was just seeing it was just fearless from Sterling Strikers. So nothing to take away from Sterling Strikers, but also, as I said, Canton 11 has absolutely a great team, and nothing to take away from Canton 11 as well. So Javed Bhai, you have built such a brilliant team. I know it's easy to say, but I think, as you mentioned, as you just played against Pokiris and Glads, but I think rest of the games will be really interesting from your end. If you lose, I think it's because something from Canton 11 was not proven right. So that is a challenge I would like to give you and Canton 11.
Yes,
so
sir.
let's hope for the best.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for accepting, and really enjoyed the show.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you so much.
All right. Bye,
Good
everyone.
night. Bye. Lovely. So that was our showcase game of the week. Taif, yes, I'd just like to add to that point. I know I mentioned this to you privately. I'd say this publicly as well. Your hands are very capable hands that wield the willow and the ball with a lot of aplomb. So I certainly wish you a speedy recovery. Yes, you're playing with that broken hand, but I hope you don't do any further damage and you recover very soon. The cricket is all about the human nature and how the sport itself mirrors gentlemanliness, and you certainly personify everything that is good about our game and people in general. So it's lovely to have you here as well, Taif, and hope to see you keep performing.
Thank you, Obi.
Yep, absolutely. So with that, I suppose we'd like to flash on screen some of our top performers for the past week, I suppose. Satya, would you please do the honors? So obviously this was never in doubt. One of the topmost shooters for the previous weekend was Sujan from Team FCC for his stupendous spell, taking 6 wickets along with a maiden in his 4.2 overs. Next up, we have, so just the one shooter for the past weekend. I'd say before we move on to the predictions, I always believe looking forward to the next weekend should be our final act on this show. So my take is that we quickly go through the remaining games from the previous weekend, if you're okay.
Yes, in the interest of completeness, we should do that. Legends.
Do that. Viju, if you're okay, I can just quickly shoot through them, and then you can ask your questions to Javed, who is quite patiently waiting.
All right, sure.
Is that okay? Right.
That's fine.
Awesome. So I believe where we left off was Legends versus Brownstown. Now it's going to be tough for Viju to stay away from this one, but so I'm okay giving you a few minutes as well. For a showcase game, this one kind of fizzled out. Legends lived up to their end of the bargain by putting up an above par score of 115, but Brownstown were just blown away in the chase. The blow off was largely due to Sai Pratap's 4 wickets, and Brownstown, for a much vaulted team, couldn't even last 18 overs, which is quite disappointing from the diesel engine, as you guys described them. So that's pretty much what I had. I think for a showcase game, we expected a better performance, but all credits to Legends living up to their billing at least, and doing and putting Brownstown in their place last week. Viju, do you have anything to add, considering it was our showcase game?
Yeah, because it's a showcase game of the week, I'll
Right.
comment, and I think the rest of the games I will just skip my commentary. But on this one, I thought
Sorry, we've lost your voice, Viju.
Yeah.
Probably.
Maybe you can continue with the next game, so you can join back and you can do it.
Viju, I think Viju, you're on mute. I think we have you back.
Viju, you are on mute.
Viju, you're on mute.
Okay, I'm back now.
There you go.
I just wanted to say it was a clinical performance by Legends. I think Harish was the real deal. I think KK gave them a great start. You can't blame Legends on this one-sided game because Legends certainly came to play. I think Brownstown did not deliver. Simple as that. And if you ask me, Satya still picked Brownstown, and I think it's because of the whooping that he got from Brownstown in the semi-final game. But this Brownstown engine is certainly not performing like a diesel engine. It's now officially a charcoal engine. And because it's a 10-game season, I think we might be looking, okay? I'm still not willing to write them off. The only reason I'm not willing to write them off is because they are in Pool B. But if they were in Pool C, I would have written them off. 10-game season, I think we are looking at an implosion from Brownstown because that margin of safety has become even more minuscule. You see, if you ask me, for Brownstown, only Ahmed and Rehan Malik look comfortable in the middle. With regards to Mansab, that's the way he plays. When it works, it works. When it doesn't work, he gets caught at the boundary. But I think this was the first showcase game of the week, which did not live up to its billing. At this point, I think if you ask me to compare both these teams, both Legends and Brownstown, it would be like in a sound competition, comparing the sound of a fart with the sound of a thunder. All right, that's exactly how it is, because it's not even close. At this point, they do not even belong on the same field. This was a no contest. There is no additional marks for guessing who is giving out the farting sound and who is giving out the thunder sound. I think Brownstown is officially in the intensive care unit. All right, they are on critical support. At this point, they have 7 games remaining. And by my reckoning, they need to win at least 5 games with bonus points, or possibly 6 games out of the 7 games. So really speaking, there's really no margin of safety, and they still have 1 or 2 other good games. And the way they are showing up for the games, I have no reason to expect too much. But yeah, I mean, let's wait and see. We can't officially write them off because they are in a weak pool, but they are in the ICU unit, and they are in severe need of resuscitation if they have to get out of this funk that they are in. But that's about it. But let's wish, if it doesn't happen, for the first time, Brownstown will be missing the playoffs.
Right. Well, ominous portents there for Brownstown. Next up is Troy Hawks versus Safaris, which actually turned out to be one of the showcase games of the weeks, even though we didn't consider them so. Troy Hawks batted pretty well to put up a good score of 124 in their 25 overs, shepherded by their openers, putting up a 49-run stand, which was obviously invaluable. And then their new recruit, Natraj, from Lions, partnering with Shashidhar in the middle to add another 30 valuable runs. But then Safaris, boy, did they rally well to almost pull off an analyst upset. I know most of us had predicted Troy Hawks to canter through on a win, but the Safaris gave us a real scare. I was on the phone with Kartik Kesavamatham, who I know outside of cricket from work, and he quickly cut the call when we were talking, saying it was his turn to bat, and looks like he had a really good outing in conjunction with Rahul, who was probably unlucky to miss out on a 50. But kudos to both of them for their batting, which almost took them over the line. And I think looks like Ravi Kosi Reddy, if you look at the scorecard, he could have actually pulled it off for them had he not gotten injured. So it says he retired hurt. I wonder what happened there. And I certainly hope it isn't anything big and he can get back in action in the next game. Ultimately, Safaris fell tantalizingly short by just 5 runs. But a thing to note is 14 extras by the Troy Hawks bowlers, though. So something, it could have cost them the game. So that's something they may want to watch out for. But ultimately, it was a case of what might have been for the Safaris. But good for Troy Hawks to get through to a win, albeit a close one. Detroit Bulls versus Spartans is the next game we have, and Detroit Bulls, I have to say, have been they flattered to deceive after some of their earlier performances. They gave a lot of hopes to the analysts on this show, but I think only Parthiv was unenamored by their performances. Three of us predicted that they would win, and now have egg on our faces thanks to them, and rightfully so. Except Soju, their batting scorecard is quite a dismal picture, with the Spartans bowlers doing a good overall job of economy and splitting the wickets amongst themselves. Spartans, though, did have a scare while batting. They were 2 down for just 3 runs on the board, with all 3 of those runs actually being extras donated by the Detroit Bulls bowlers. There was nothing off the bat, but even then, when you have only scored 51, there's only so much victory you can smell. And mercifully for the Spartans, Chanakya and Satish held the fort. And really, there's only so much the Detroit Bulls bowlers could do to cover up for the sheer ineptness of their batting unit. So congratulations, Spartans and Detroit Bulls. You better pull up your socks, and unless you just want to continue flattering to deceive for the rest of the season. And I'm sure Tanuj is going to take this to heart and hopefully engender a turnaround. Next up was Dark Horses versus UCA. Now, UCA is a team that I have personally been impressed with every passing game. Faced them in the pre-DCL tournament, and they look like a team that has the potential, and they showed that potential in this game. Dark Horses would have fancied their chances having reached 107, largely thanks to Chaitanya's 31 coming in quick time. But UCA, when it came to their batting, they fought back unfazed with Srinivasan Yerumalai with his 21 setting the platform as an opener, and then Satya Kompala, who stayed till the end, having scored a 28 and enabling UCA to cross the line just by the skin of their teeth with 4 balls to spare. A close win, but a much needed boost and shot in the arm for UCA nevertheless. He was also ably supported by Arun at the very end, scoring 19 of just 15 balls. But then the 4th highest scorer for UCA was the Dark Horses bowlers. So 16 extras. So just think what might have been when it came down to the wire. Had you guys not ended up being the 4th best batsman for UCA, then you might well have won the game. So some food for thought there for the Dark Horses bowlers. But congratulations, nevertheless, to UCA. Very happy to see you guys notch up a win this past weekend. And finally, KRCC versus Strikers. Unfortunately, another game that was rain affected. Although KRCC did a very good job of posting 122 in their allotted overs. And I guess understandably, I heard some grumbling from some of their players later on in the afternoon when I ran into them, saying that the game probably was playable after the rain had stopped, but the Strikers craftily used the opportunity to protest and say, hell no, we aren't going to be able to play in these conditions, and therefore we want a rematch. And I will let Parthiv probably answer this on the show next time around. But nevertheless, a good performance from KRCC, and hope for their sake, they would probably hope that they can repeat that performance when the game is replayed.
Avi, it's not just you who heard it. I heard the same thing, that Partha was scared for his life and that he did not want to play the game. I was specifically told that Yogesh was made a fool by Partha, and Yogesh, shouldn't have agreed that the game was playable. I kind of find it difficult to believe. The reason I say that is because what does Parthiv have to gain by not playing the game? Granted, yes, they really need this win, so he came to win, and he still have Raj in his arsenal. So he definitely bought Raj just for this game, and Raj hadn't still batted. So I still think that the game could have gone either way. But again, I do not know how the ball and the wicket was behaving. So maybe Parthiv might have said, okay, let's do another day. But if you are KRCC, I think given the fact that you do not have good competition in your pool, I think you should try to play strikers when strikers have Raj available to play. And I'm sure Parthiv is a smart guy and he will only look for a day on which Raj is available. But I also heard that Raj was bowling spin in this game and he got hammered also. So if Raj is not bowling pace, then he shouldn't even be bowling.
Right.
It's as simple as that. If you are not bowling pace and not prepared to give you a full effort, don't even bother bowling, because I still think Binod is their best bowler at this point of time. And sure enough, KRCC was hammering Raj all around the park. But the reason he was getting hammered around the park was because he was apparently bowling spin. So,
Okay.
but anyway, that's just for this thing. But yeah, I did hear from the other side that the strikers refused to play because, again, it would have been nice to have Parthiv to defend himself and to tell
Agreed.
his side of the story, because every coin has two sides. If you just listen to one side, you'll end up making a mistake. So I would allow to hear Parthiv's official version on the story.
Absolutely. Well, that brings us to the end of the previous week analysis segment. And before we round off with the predictions for the next week, Javed Bhai has been waiting very patiently indeed for Viju to ask him his questions. So Viju, please take it away and let's see what you have for Javed.
Javed, here comes the spice. The spice is this. What is Raza Ali expecting? Can you please educate me and educate rest of DCL from your point of view? Now, you have played with Raza when he was in FHCC. He left FHCC, went to Stallions, Canton 11, now back with FHCC, though it is under a different name. What in the world is Raza Ali expecting? I mean, is there any captain in the world who can make Raza Ali happy? Certainly the problem was not with Ehsan Ansari, because he's back with Ehsan Ansari. So please educate us.
I'll be honest with you, not even one captain in the world can make Raza Ali happy. Nobody can.
Thank you for a very honest answer. You know what? If I could just come across the screen and give you a hug, I would give you a hug, because that is probably the most honest answer I have ever heard from anybody.
Yeah, nobody.
All right. I was stunned, and that's why I was asking you the question. All right, go ahead.
He's a very good player, very good human being. But when it comes to the team player captaincy, he wants everything, he wants 5 over, keeping and bowling, and he deserves. He does very good, But you cannot make him happy, You cannot. Every time, never work together. Always something come out. I make the decision, then he say no, this is not right. When he make the decision, then it's still right. So whatever he does is okay. When we try to do something as a team player or teammate, it doesn't work, So we want him to play with us, but he decided to move back to. I'd be very happy if he go to Brownstone, if he can go to Gladiator and GLCC. I'd be very happy. I told him, but he chose to go back to same his team. So I don't know what I told him. What make you change? It's not a sterling striker. It's a FSCC. So but his comment is name change can make a big difference. I say I don't think so. Player performance make the difference, not a name change. You know what I mean? You have a same player been playing with Ehsan Ali for a couple of years, and they never reached to playoff. Even the time we playing with Ehsan, our chemistry never worked. So we decided to pull out, talk to our player and put our own team. So now we are very happy. We're working hard. First year we didn't go through. Second year, in the 40 team, we qualify the playoff. And we also make a very good score playoff, in 92 runs. It's a very good title, score, but we cannot defend it, So Raza decided to move back to, it's okay, that's his choice, Then Raza, Bhatti went for better opportunity, it's okay. He went to Brownstown. Then Mohit went to Raptor, and Heather Mustafa also go where Raza go, But
yeah,
I didn't give up, I work hard with my people. I want to thanks to Harry Bhai, Shabazz Bhai, Abrar, Shakil, everybody supporting me, and we put a very good team,
Yes, and by the way, I wanted to ask you, what happened to Abrar? I haven't seen him.
Abrar he's got an injury, a foot injury, so that's why I give him the rest. Plus, he have a job in the weekend, because me and Abrar Bhai work same company. If I'm not working, somebody need to cover me. So Abrar Bhai covering for me, But he will come back after this game. Hopefully, he'll go to doctor, see his foot, he should be coming back.
Yeah, I always liked Abrar, so I always wondered why is Abrar I didn't see him against Glads, I didn't see him against Pokeries, and I was wondering why Abrar didn't show up. But I know he's on your roster, so I wanted to
He's
ask
in
you
my
that.
roster.
But tell him I said hi.
Yeah, thank
At
you.
least
He's
please tell him.
listening. He's listening. All my team is listening.
Okay, very good, very good.
There was an Abrar that briefly joined the call. I'm not sure if that was the person you guys are referring to, but he dropped off. But I don't know. Somebody joined in between.
Yeah, I thought it was. I didn't think it was Abrar. It was somebody by the name of BRAR. I thought. I don't know.
Oh, sorry. It was some R Bra. Yeah, Brar.
R Brar or something like that. I think there is a player by the name of R Brar. He joined. He did join the call and then he did drop off. I don't think it was Abrar.
My bad. Oh, my bad.
Yeah. Javed Bhai, the next question. You briefly touched on it that under FHCC things did not work out. Can you please tell us what did not work out and why it did not work out? And in your view, what was wrong? Because it is not just like that a player and a number of players, including Abrar and many other players, leave FHCC whole scale and go and form a different team. I mean, can you throw some light on that?
Well, light, I mean, when we playing with when Ahsan asked me to need some players, so I bring all my Canton 11 players. We used to play together. We joined FSCC, and after a few years, we just learning. We not going nowhere. You know, I mean, we not reaching the goal. You know, every team have a goal. You know where you have to go through, and things now working out, including myself. I being play with a 4-year, 5-year. I keep asking for send me upper order, but nobody listening. Only Raza listening. Raza keep promising, talking to Ahsan, put me in upper order, but never happened. I mean, the time he did, it's too late. We already make our mind. We just need to move on. I mean, so that's why we talked to Jagan Bhai, add our team to the DCL. We're lucky we got an opportunity and we took the spot. You know what I mean? And we gelling young people, you know what I mean? Mostly a Canton player, you know what I mean? And with Harry Bhai Sports, you know what I mean? We are combined our very good chemistry, you know what I mean? Working together, all team players supporting each other, you know what I mean? That's excellent, you know what I mean?
And clearly, I noticed that there is plenty of, spice, plenty of misgivings between the teams. And surely both teams are going to come out with the best unit either of the two teams can put together on this game day.
Correct.
How confident are you facing Sterling Strikers?
Me, including myself and my whole team, entire, they're 100% positive. They're going to play fearless cricket and 100% going to win.
Okay.
Every single player is a positive. Every single player. They are excited to play.
I know you're going to leave no stone unturned getting your best players to come and play this game.
Correct.
I know you'll stand on your head if you have to bring them. And I also know that Ahsan is going to stand on his head to bring his best this thing. So I think, Avi, I can honestly tell you, if the Glads GLCC game was not there, this was the game we should have made the showcase game of the week. At least my vote would have been for that. I do not know how the other three of you would have voted, but I could see the spice long time back. And when I saw that this game was on the same day as the Glads GLCC game, my heart sunk because I desperately wanted to give showcase game of the week to this game because I knew there was plenty of masala, plenty of spice, and plenty of things which is not visible. Now all of DCL knows, yep, there is plenty of things which we are not seeing, which is lying under cover, under wraps. Now it has all been blown. Thanks to prime time, it has all been blown wide open, and that's okay. That if that motivates these guys to go and give a performance of a lifetime, they will be able to look back and say, you know what, in the most critical game of our season, we put on a performance and we put on a show. And I just hope that it's not at the same time as the Glads GLCC game. And Javed Bhai, if you can broadcast your game, please broadcast your game. Please send me a link also. If you don't have my number, send it to Satya. Satya will forward it to me. But my number
plan
is
to live streaming the game. We already talked.
All right, but definitely send a link. I requested the same of Legends last week, and they were very kind enough to broadcast the game. And I think we have come to a place where many teams are broadcasting the game, and that really helps out because there are many of us who like to watch real good games, you know, and
Yeah.
this one has tremendous fanfare for a number of reasons which are beyond cricketing, you see. So it'll be a great game for me to watch.
And it's great to see yourself on screen as well. I think one of the biggest tragedies, at least for me, from the last weekend was allegedly the storage ran out by the time I bowled my spell. I don't know what to make of it.
Well, I hope it was not the storage was confused.
No. Actually,
No, okay.
it's Satish that's responsible for the streaming. No, I'd
Okay.
actually say, yeah. So yeah, but it would have been. It is always very nice. And personally speaking, I think Javed Bhai has a very good outfit there. That's fighting on the field every single moment. They are so enthusiastic that they don't just have the opposition under pressure; they also have the umpires under pressure. They appealing for LBWs every other ball, even if it was right off the face of the bat. But I appreciate the enthusiasm the team on the field. So that was definitely nice to see, Javed, even if it was as an opponent.
And Avi, I'll be honest with you, umpires. I hope the best umpires come for some of these critical games, because they can make or break a game. Honestly, you know, if you have a bad umpiring, it can really hurt your team big time. I just hope that whoever is umpiring their game, as well as the Glad's GLCC game, would be fair and would have no preconceived notions and would just call it directly, as they say it.
I am making
Yogi
my...
and Sutesh is coming for umpiring.
Who?
Sorry?
Yogi and Sutesh.
No. You have got two excellent umpires. Satish Kalamakunda is an excellent umpire.
Yeah.
And Yogesh is also a very good umpire. I just feel that he didn't give the Ronak U. Patel run out against Brownstone correctly. I think he swallowed that one. But he will not give a call, at least deliberately a wrong call. So you are completely covered. I think you might be having the best umpires for this game available this week. So I think that's a real good thing, because I would any day take Satish Belamakonda hands down, pants down, eyes closed. Simple as that. And same thing with Yogesh. Yogesh is a very good umpire. Both are very good individuals also. So I think if you got those two guys, refuse any of the changes also. You should say that, nope, you guys only should come. That's it.
That's it. Yeah.
Nice.
But yes, Javed, I had already picked Canton 11 to win this game, but after hearing you, I am 100% sure that I'm only going with Canton 11. I do not know who's going to win the game, but my pick is going to be for Canton 11, but I'll let Avi go into the picks. But thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for, most importantly, thank you for being very honest and that's what we expect. We ask tough questions and we expect people to answer those tough questions, because it's easy to give a wiffle waffle answer, which is neither here nor there. It's lukewarm. It's either be hot or be cold. You know, it's as simple as that. Don't be lukewarm. But you were direct to the point. You're the kind of guest I would like to interview every week. You know, come straight, answer the point. Why beat around the bush? You know, if this is what it is, this is what it is. Say it as it is. That's the kind of person I am, and I like that kind of answer also. So thank you for coming on the show.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for everybody. Let me appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Javed Bhai. You are welcome to stay on to take part in the predictions, but if it is too late for you, we completely understand.
Okay, I'm going to finish him up.
Okay, great. All right. So that right on cue, then we go into the predictions for the games for the coming weekend, sponsored generously by Green Sapling Eco-Friendly Dinnerware. And starting off, I think our first game, and yes, we have the scoreboard there on the leaderboard amongst the analysts. But starting off, we have UCA versus Dynamites. And without going into too much detail about each games, I'd like us to go through these somewhat quickly. My prediction is that Dynamites are going to win this one.
Parthiv is predicted Dynamites, and I predict Dynamites. They are in good role. Will you?
I think Vijay Shanmugam can do nothing wrong. He's the king of Livonia right now, and the king will reign supreme. I know that Srinivas Elumalai has been trying to tempt me by promising me a Mysore masala dosha, but every time I picked UCA, when I picked them, they dumped me. When I picked against them, they dumped me. I picked against Dynamites, I got dumped. I can't win one way or the other. So I'm going to go with my friend Vijay Shanmugam and the Dynamites. He's the king. Let's be his subject for this week.
All right.
Dynamites.
Javed bhai, what do you think?
Oh, Dynamites.
Dynamites. Okay, 5-0 to Dynamites. If that doesn't gladden Vijay's heart, I don't know what will. Indus Thunders versus FCC. I would like to take a pass on this one today personally, because I am actually making my umpiring debut in DCL this weekend, and I'm umpiring this game. So I would like to remain neutral on this one.
Parthiv said Indus, and I would like to go to Indus, but we have to see what Sandeep brings. Like, I think last week they did not have a couple of bowlers. I hope everybody's back on the squad, and Indus will be winning it easily.
Avi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Gopu has everyone, and I am sure he'll bring everyone for this game against FCC. This is a critical game, but Gopu will want to prove a point because he dropped a bonus point against Safaris. So I think he'll bring everyone for this game. There will be no more palindrome type symptoms where you try to play from backwards and frontwards and things like that. I am picking Indus Thunders.
Great. Javed bhai?
Indus.
Lovely. So 4-0 in favor of Indus. Let's see if FCC can muster the gumption to overturn that. Patriots versus Troy Hawks. Despite Troy Hawks' impressive win last weekend, I am actually tempted to go with the Patriots on this one.
And Parthiv selected Troy Hawks, and I'm impressed with the Troy Hawks form, and they have a couple of good players. And I like to pick Troy Hawks this time than Patriots. Still, Patriots is finding guys. I think they're trying to figure out what to do. So I would go with Troy Hawks.
Avi, I'm not having a great deal of conviction on either team. I mean, in the sense that who is going to win. I mean, I'm convinced about their abilities. It's just that it's a hard pick for me. But so when you have a hard pick, you go with a momentum. At this point, the momentum is with Troy Hawks. For that reason, I'm going to pick Troy Hawks.
Fair enough. Right.
The Patriot.
Okay.
Oh, Javed bhai is also Patriots. Okay, so at least a couple of us in favor of them. Next up is Raptors versus Dark Horses. I think this is a bit of a no-brainer. Raptors for me.
And Parthiv picked Raptors. I do pick Raptors.
Avi, I do not know about, you heard of a company called Nikola?
Yes.
All right. Nikola has been talking about this truck, the electric truck they are making. And they had a deal with GM, and their stock went to $80. And when that CEO came on this thing, I listened to him, and I'm a stock analyst. All right. And that's my profession. And so I'm looking at this and listening to that interview. And I said something about this guy doesn't sound good, it doesn't smell good.
Right.
I can smell a rat from miles away. And I said, you know what, I'm not picking this stock. I'm not buying it. And something seems to be off. And I just felt it to be too rosy. And sure enough, years later, maybe a couple of months later, after the GM deal was signed and all that, you would think that the CEO of GM would have done their homework anyway. Hindenburg Research came out with a short report. They came out and shorted the stock, and then they released a report which said that this Nikola truck, and all right, the Nikola had made a video of seeing a Big Mac truck, all right, and it's driving down at 40 miles per hour or 30 miles per hour. But they revealed in this new short report which they came out saying that, you know what, this truck was taken to the top of a hill and just pushed. And it was gravity which was taking this truck down. And it is not actually a working Nikola engine. And after that report came out, there all sorts of questions came out. Was this really a Nikola working engine? And Nikola came out and said, nowhere did we say that it was an actual Nikola engine. We just showed you a truck which was going downhill. My point is, Dark Horses this season has shown us nothing. They have been losing games left and right. Last game was a game which they should have won. At this point of time, I think Dark Horses is like Nikola. And I feel Raptors is going to take them to the top of the hill. All right. And watch this, Avi. This is what they're going to do. Boom. With that leg, they're going to give a kick on that dark horse's truck. And this dark horse's truck will be coming down, and all of DCL will be thinking that this dark horse's engine is running. But like that Nikola engine, there is no Nikola engine which really exists, which runs that truck. I don't think dark horses have a chance against Raptors. So Raptors for me.
We've had quite a few engines misfiring here this year of DCL. Javed Bhai, what is your take on this? Raptors as well. So clean sweep for Raptors there. Kings 11 versus Blasters. Again, I think this is going to be another clean sweep, in my opinion, in favor of Blasters.
Party to pick Blasters. So this is going to be another close game for Kings 11. There might be an upset. We don't know because Blasters still finding the form, but I pick Blasters.
All right.
I think Nikhil Kumar, I think that's his name. He's the man who destroyed strikers single-handedly. He took their, he loved couples bowling and he took him to the cleaners. And the question now that needs to be asked and answered is Nikhil Kumar?
Oh. Okay.
I think we've lost Viju there again for some reason. I don't know why.
Okay. So, yeah.
I see his name there. I don't know if Viju is back. There he is. Viju is back again. But you're on mute.
Sorry.
Viju.
Yeah. Are you able to hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah. The question is Nikhil Kumar going to be a one-hit wonder? I think the Blasters bowling is good enough. It's much better than the striker bowling. I don't think he's going to have the same kind of game. I'm giving this to Blasters.
Next game is FCC Agni versus. So I'm so sorry, Javed Bhai. Who do you think between Blasters as well? Okay. Next game is FCC Agni versus Detroit Bulls. I would actually like to change my prediction on this one. Probably considering the abysmal performance from Detroit Bulls, I had originally thought of them as the favorites on this one, but I'm increasingly inclined to say it's going to be FCC Agni that are going to win this one.
The Parthi's pick is Agni, and I do go with Agni.
Yep.
Avi, the Bulls are playing games with me. When I pick them, they don't win. When I pick against them, they throw mud on my face and cow dung on my face. You get my point? I can't win whichever way, whether I pick them or pick against them. So I'm going to pick FCC Agni. Hopefully Agni will show me a little more love than the Bulls.
Javed?
Bulls.
For Detroit Bulls. Okay. So at least one in favor of Detroit Bulls, and hopefully they will use that to gain some inspiration. Hitmen versus Strikers. Again, I think there is no contest on this one. It's going to be Strikers for me.
And Strikers for Parthiv, and I do pick Strikers.
On this one, again, my feeling is that the Strikers bowling has been looking like paper rabbits. Mind you, I didn't say paper tigers. They're looking like paper rabbits. That's the news which came to me after Strikers played KRCC. The news to me was, Viju, don't pick the Strikers. The Strikers bowling is like paper rabbits. So, well, he didn't call it paper rabbits. I'm giving the paper rabbits. He pretty much inferred pretty much the same thing along the line. But I just made it colorful and called them paper rabbits. But I'm going to go with the exception of Binod. Apparently, there's nobody there. So, but still, I'm going to go with Strikers.
Right. Javed Bhai?
Striker.
All right. And then comes Viju's favorite game of this weekend, Sterling Strikers versus Canton 11. I am in favor of Canton 11, and that's been reinforced by my own experience of seeing them in action against Pokiris.
Parthiv picks Sterling Strikers. I like to go Canton 11. So they have full team. They should be able to take them.
Why are these figures not moving?
The figures?
I thought these these icons are supposed to move to whichever team we pick, right?
We do. It's moving.
Oh, it is? I'm not seeing that. Okay, all right. That's fine. My point is this is going to be Armageddon revisited. And I feel that it's going to be the battle of the brothers. Raza Ali is going to want to prove a point. Ehsan Ansari is going to want to prove a point. but I think Javed has been able to take a bonus point off Pokeries, and he came to taking a bonus point close off Glads too. I am picking Canton 11.
And Javed bhai, I assume there is no doubt there as to whose side you are on.
Yeah.
Next up, did you skip the GLCC Gladiators game, Satya?
I think that's the last game.
At the end.
Oh, okay. So MCC Miles versus Rising Stars. Again, I am expecting this to be a washout in favor. Well, not a washout, but I'm expecting this to be a clean sweep among the analysts towards MCC Miles. I'm personally in favor of MCC Miles.
Party picks MCC Miles too, and I'd pick MCC Miles, but MCC Miles has to be very careful. They have to win this with bonus, and they have to get all their batting up, and they are going to face another couple of good games after this. So this might be one game they have to win with a good note. So,
Miles have the better players. For that reason, I'm going with Miles.
Sounds logical enough. Javed?
Rising Star.
Oh, Rising Stars. Okay. MI Rangers versus AR Phantoms. I think another no-brainer here. It's amazing how many of these we have this week. MI Rangers for me.
and Parthiv's MI Ranger, I go with MI Rangers. So hope they bowl first.
Viju?
This game is going to be within the community. Like, all these guys in the same community. So.
Oh, really?
Atlanta,
All right.
yeah.
I think Rangers are the real deal. They have lots of very good players, and some of whom I know personally in terms of interaction, and some I have seen through television when Glads have broadcasted a game between Glads and MI Rangers. For that reason, I have a lot of respect for their abilities, so I'm going to go with MI Rangers.
Right. Oh, Javed?
MI Ranger.
MI Rangers. Okay. And then finally, the big showcase game of this coming weekend, GLCC versus Gladiators. Samish is the very picture of confidence. Yes, the history or the record favors GLCC, but I am going to throw my lot in with the Gladiators on this one.
Have to pick GLCC. So obviously I pick Glads.
I don't think there's any.
Momentum is with GLCC. They're coming in with solid momentum, and Glads are coming with zero momentum or negative momentum. Glads have not played like Glads of 2018 or 19, but I still believe that my mates can turn it on at any point of time. And if they turn it on, it's going to be lights out for the opposition. But I do not know if they can turn it on, but momentum wise, I don't like it. If it was not the Glads team, I probably would have gone with GLCC based on momentum, because I picked a few picks based on momentum. But this one, I'm going to go against momentum, and I'm going to say that Glads are going to get the better of GLCC in this one.
And to close it off, Javed?
GLCC.
GLCC. Okay. So that indeed promises to be an absolute cracker of a game, and all of us are licking our lips in anticipation of what promises to be indeed the showcase game of this weekend. Thank you everyone for tuning in, as always, to DCL Prime Time. Hopefully you've all had fun listening to today's show. There was some engaging conversation with some interesting people and with some very capable people that we've had on that we were fortunate to have on the show tonight. So as always, we look forward to these weekend's game. I'm sure you're all joining us eagerly in anticipation. Thank you for joining us on the show this evening. Hopefully, for those of you that didn't catch the live show, you will watch the show that's put up on the Glads YouTube stream at a time of your convenience. I'd again like to thank Javed for taking the time and patiently waiting with us on the show.
Appreciate it,
Thank you. Thank you so much. And to all of you, stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, continue enjoying this great game of ours, and have a good rest of the week. Thank you very much for joining.
Thank you so
Goodbye and good night.
much. Everybody. Goodbye. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Vijay.